mic still muted. Hi guys, sorry I'm starting in a moment. I'm just getting all the videos I want pulled up. But if you have any other stuff you want me to look at, feel free to. I don't know my DMs on Twitter, but feel free to DM me on Twitter or in my Discord or anything. Just another moment. Alright. Alright, let's get into this. Yeah, this is the video I was asked to look at, but I'm probably gonna end up hold on, is this mute? Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up going back and just reviewing her original VOD as well. Because there were some things I did watch her original VOD, but I didn't watch it too much in depth. But I did have some things I wanted to say on just what she had said Wilbur had done. Just not to I'm not defending Wilbur in this because I do think I think he violated a boundary, and I think that was an okay. Sort of bloody titty pot in the corner. I don't know how to move my. Okay, how about? Mm, okay, yeah, that's better, I think. And yes, if you're here from, oh, I need to post my thing on Twitter. If you're here from Twitter, yes, you can ask me questions about whatever. I I do not care. Like, you can ask me anything. Just be blunt. Stop messing around. Because there's a lot of people asking, like, who are you? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that question is meant to. I don't know what you're asking me because I'm nobody just like you. I don't know what you're asking. Nobody's really anybody. Wait, I'll pull up her. Yeah, I'll pull up her the video in a moment. Okay, let's get started. I'm sorry this is a bad date for it, but I just figured I should stream because I'll go full screen soon. Yeah, I figured I should stream because I just have not streamed in quite a few days. It did not feel like 5 days, but apparently it was 5 days ago. Uh, and yeah, I've got relatives visiting, and they're just being quite annoying. Psycho Slasher, hello. How you doing? Uh, apparently I'm a like drama streamer now, so I'll still come back and play games though. I'd love to go back and play games with people too. It's just this week is really extremely busy, but thank you for stopping by my stream. I don't know if you've heard about like all this drama happening on Twitch. Like my camera's blocking this side. No, that's not what I meant. Webcam. Yeah, like that. All the allegations that have been happening to pretty much everyone. Why is this? Oh, thank you so much for the check-in. Oh yeah, I forgot I'm still in all these discords. I'll make sure to credit you in there as well. And if you want to lurk, that's fine. This stream might be kind of like tense, so why is this so blurry? I think it's my. Okay, yeah, it's quality. Gabby won't Hello, hi, how you doing? Let's see what that's.
A few days ago.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to post my link as well. Yeah, I'll see what I have to do with this. I have not had that much time to prepare, but I do study biopsychology, so I'm gonna see if I can apply that to to this. Because there is quite a lot of biology that there's quite a lot of biological differences between males and females that can affect behavior and just yeah everything. Still gonna look, still gonna show some love and like a bit as well. Thank you so much, Psycho Slash. I appreciate it. God, I'm so bad at Twitter. I do not know how to use this app. I'm just gonna make tweet generic. Okay, that's enough fun. Did you say biopsychology? Yes, I study biopsychology. I study quite a lot of things. Just, I don't know, it's just a hobby mostly. I don't really, yeah, I don't know, I was just bored, so I took a biopsychology course from Stanford. So yeah, let me see, this is the aftermath, so this might be a bit confusing for anyone who is, oh, not, I have to move to the other side, looks like I'm facing that way. And yeah, what biopsychology is like the just how biology relates to the brain and everything. I've studied that extensively because I have had a concussion before and I've never been to a doctor, so I kind of had to study medicine on my own, and biopsychology was quite an important part of that. Had yeah, quite a lot of shit I've had to study on my own. Let's get into the video.
Ago, I made a video based on the recent Shubble and Wilbur Soot incident that's been heavily discussed on social media, especially on Twitch, Twitter and YouTube. That video, if I'm not mistaken, is so far one of, if not the biggest documentary explanation on it. But
Should I be watching that one first? Maybe I should watch that one first. Okay, wait, hold on. Just so everyone can have context. Because not everyone, I know not everyone's had the full story. Let me do that one first. And I'll give my personal opinion. I do not personally know either Wilbur or Shelby, and I don't think, no, I have not met them at all. But there is some stuff I think other people haven't said. Oh God, on YouTube, this is just sad. I think there's a really big mental health epidemic going on, and it really is so sad. I'm seeing so many people posting about how happy and like unfulfilled they are. Okay, there it is. No ads, YouTube. No. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, let me know if the audio is
on the
fixed up.
22nd of February 2024, a 30-year-old streamer of the name Shubble, real name Shelby Grace, went live on Twitch to reveal a terrifying truth that would send shockwaves throughout her community. In a stream titled Talking About Something More Serious, she would reveal that in a previous relationship of hers, she was being hurt and physically abused by a person who seemed to have a lack of regard for her health and well-being.
Also, by the way, since I have like I have talked about Georgia's situation before, yeah, Georgia and Caitlin, or Katie, I do not I do not um like support Wilbur. I do not say what he did was not abusive, and I do think Shelby was a victim, and I do feel really bad for her. I have seen her tweets. I can't pull up Twitter on here now because I'm gonna have to relog in. But I I think maybe she could have gone about it a little better, but I certainly think I've heard she has gotten like death threats and been sent awful stuff as well, and I think that's horrible. I don't think that she deserves that. I think this probably should have never been made public in the first place, but since it is, I guess I'm free to talk about it.
This abuse would come in the form of biting, a form of physical abuse that isn't exactly orthodox. Even Shubble herself, while on the brink of tears, would note that this form of abuse was especially strange.
When I hear about physical abuse, I think of hitting. I think of hitting and punching. So I thought that
As
this
most people
wasn't
do.
violent enough to be abusive.
This constant biting was so strange that Shubble didn't even clock that it was a problem at first. As she says, this isn't the kind of thing that you would imagine abuse to look like. However, as she would later go on to describe, seeds were planted early on within the relationship that would later sprout into a vicious thorn. Shubble described how this abuse began very lightly. This biting at first was a lot softer.
What I want to figure out is like how malicious was Wilbur being with this? Like, was he? I'm trying to see if he was genuinely trying to hurt her, or like how much does Wilbur know what he's doing, and how much is he just lying, or how much is he just like just fucking things up really badly, making stupid decisions, but not intentionally causing harm, you know? But I do think I do one thing I do think about Will is that he needs to be more disciplined, and he needs to figure out what makes him happy in life.
But as time went on, it became much more painful time after time.
And I thought he was being sweet, checking on me to make sure that I was still comfortable. But of course I was, because
No,
he hadn't hurt me.
This is crazy.
And why would I think he ever would? Um, and then he did, for the first time, by accident.
Oh, sorry if I mispronounced it. Hi, how are you? I'm doing good today. Yeah, sorry, late to stream as usual. My family had to drag me out to dinner because they're constantly obsessed with going out to dinner. I'm doing all right today. How are you? I'm just reviewing the drama, just giving my perspective from somebody who's learned a lot about psychology and a lot of other cultural kind of influences on stuff like that.
And I don't specifically remember the actual first time that he bit me too hard by accident, because I didn't think that it would be significant. I thought that it would only happen once. And he started biting me more and more over a period of time, sort of throughout the whole relationship. And accidents of him biting too hard and really hurting me happened more and more frequently.
Within the very first
Yeah,
paragraph of
that is the part I'm not quite sure about his intentions, but I do. It does sound like an abusive relationship, and I'm I'm not like victim blaming or anything. I'm not sure why. I guess it's hard to in the moment to figure out, oh, this is abuse if it's not pointed out to you. Which, yeah, that, oh God, yeah, makes sense. I'll talk about, yeah, why I even ended up talking about other people in the first place, because that's kind of alluding to my situation a little bit, but I don't really want to go into it all the way. Uh, yeah, is it escalating over time? Oh yes, the thing I wanted to note is that Shelby identifies as asexual, and I know there's a lot of different, uh, yeah, there's just a lot of different definitions people have for that, so I'm not sure what hers is exactly, but I'm assuming it means like she's not interested in having sex. Let me check that real quick. Um, God, nobody I can invite. I have to go to Wikipedia again. Okay, great. Let's see, asexuality is a lack of sexual attraction to others, or low absent interest or desire for sexual activity. May be considered a sexual orientation or the lack thereof. May be categorized more widely to include a broad spectrum. Yeah, I hate the labels and categories so much because there is sexuality is such a fluid thing. This, one of my friends like yeah, he's not even he's like straight, but I don't know. Apparently every guy is like attracted to Ryan Reynolds or something, or I don't know. They think he's like hot. I don't know. That's true. There's just one person that told me that, but I don't know. Right? I don't see what's so special about Ryan Reynolds, but okay, like I think every to an extent most people would wouldn't assign it to like an exceptionally attractive person. So there's no just solid like you always want like always like there's always like that. There's and so I understand why they're trying to put asexual on asexual on a spectrum, but I have also heard it can be a trauma response. So I know Shelby has she's mentioned she's been in abusive relationship before as well, and I hate that for her. She does not ever, no one ever deserves that. So I don't know if this is a trauma response or this is just how she's always identified as, but I'm gonna use that label. Okay, let's go back to the video.
What an abuser looks like. On the Iowa Victim Call Center's website, it states, "Abusers may seem completely happy or perfect in the early stages of a relationship, but as time goes on, possessive and controlling behaviors can start to appear, and they intensify as the relationship grows." In Shovel's case, this was a situation that also started off slow. It started off with just a soft bite, and then a hard bite, and then one after another, and before long, this was a frequent practice. From here on out, the situation became very dark. Grace described how she came up with a safe word so that her boyfriend would know when he's pushed her to her limit. Within her stream, Grace mentions
That's reminiscent to me of like, I mean, obviously the biting is a fetish of Wilbur's, and yeah, that's probably the most he can get her to do. So that's probably why it escalated to such an extreme. I've seen the same thing happen on chatbots, and absolutely not blaming like Shelby for not like having sex with him or anything. That is not her. Like she doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to do. But I've seen this interesting thing happening with the AI chatbots where they've censored everything but or they've only censored sex, but they haven't censored any of like sexual fetishes. So it's just driving people to like make fetish porn with these bots. Like I not gonna lie, I write erotica sometimes, and the bots won't let me write just regular erotica, so I just have to write fetish porn. I mean, it's 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 annoying, but it's not completely racist. But I just the biting is definitely a fetish of Wilbur's, and I don't judge him for that. It is kind of BDSM akin, so there definitely should be a safe word, and that is a very important thing to respect in a BDSM relationship. Not that they had one, but this is just similar. That is something you absolutely have to respect. And from what I heard, Wilbur did like break that.
that she regrets this now, but at the time, she genuinely thought that this person cared about her health.
But he always seemed genuinely sorry, and he decided that he didn't want to keep accidentally hurting me. So we were going to use a safe word, so he could learn where my limit was, where my pain tolerance ended. And saying that out loud now doesn't sound like that's not very sound logic. But at the time, I thought he cared about not hurting me. But in reality, it's like, why are you biting so hard? And why do you have to bite so hard?
Shovel then noted how this abuse would sometimes come out in public. This abuser would bite.
So the reason why he's biting so hard is just the sexual frustration. Again, not excusing it. He needs to discipline himself. He needs to he needs to understand that yeah he's got that got that strength and kind of yeah that drive. It comes from testosterone. The hormone testosterone is what kind of it doesn't affect all men the same. It doesn't affect all people the same. I mean, I take testosterone for fuck's sake, and it has warped my brain a little bit. So that's kind of why or it's just what it does is it kind of exacerbates the traits you already have and makes them stronger, makes them more drive to do stuff, to work, to whatever, makes you a lot physically stronger as well. But yeah, Wilbur's just regular guy. I don't think he takes excess testosterone or steroids or anything.
Her in front of his friends, all of whom seem to be
But that is
unaware that the problem
that is the sexual like frustration building and him just biting harder, and he's not able to control himself, so he needs to learn to control himself.
was as severe as it was, because she apparently always said that it was okay. Shubble then brought up that this abuser would eventually put the blame on her, saying that the biting wasn't a problem, but it was her reaction to it.
And then he started saying things like, it was my pain tolerance that was too low, or I'm exaggerating how much it actually hurts. He's not even biting that hard. I'm being dramatic.
This behavior is once again commonly used amongst abusers.
Oh god, okay, yeah, that's not cool. That is not cool. Everybody has different pain tolerance, and if Wilbur does, it wasn't. I really don't think Wilbur is like that stupid. He doesn't seem stupid, but he seems a little naive sometimes. Like that's yeah, that's not acceptable. Blaming her for that.
Blame shifting or victim blaming is right out of the abuser's textbook. She then discusses that this person refused to stop, saying that this behaviour was just a part of their character, sugarcoating what was, in truth, abuse.
And when I asked him to stop again, this time he said, "This is who he is. He isn't going to change." Those were his words.
She followed this up by claiming that the person would present yet another common trait of abusers, that being that this person would apparently gaslight her. He would say something, and then later, when challenged on it, would claim that no such thing was ever said. He would say that it was all in her mind, or that she was lying, or whatever the case. The escalation of this abuse would go even further, with Grace claiming that her boyfriend eventually weaponized the safe word. While at the start, despite...
Oh my god, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. I wanted to give. I always try to give everyone like the benefit of the doubt, but this is not looking good right now.
Was infrequent and painless, towards the end of the relationship, this safe word was consistently being disregarded. And Shelby claims that while at the start he would apologise for any pain he inflicted, acting actually quite sincere, towards the end of the relationship he wouldn't. This was just part of the routine, no apologies were given, he didn't seem to care. According to Shelby, this left her in a constant state of fear and anxiety.
And during this time, I was filled with so much anxiety all the time that I was constantly nauseous, gagging daily, on occasion throwing up because of the pit that was in my stomach.
Eventually, her boyfriend had to leave.
And you think the thing about her too is I reviewed Katie's video versus Shovel's video. Shovel comes off as a lot more genuine to me, and because first, I mean, she's not reading off a script. She's just kind of describing what happened, describing her feelings. Katie was reading off a script and was very much dramatizing it. I do kind of think Shelby is being. She seems very genuine and she seems very hurt. And I do feel very sorry for her.
For an extended period of time, and the two broke up. She claims that he had grown to resent her and that he was unwilling to compromise to stay together with her as he wanted to see how much fame and money that he could get. Shovel said that she eventually broke up with him, but her and her now ex-boyfriend ended things on relatively decent terms. It was only after the relationship would end that the cogs would turn in her mind for her to realise what this actually was.
So I broke up with him. And I didn't even want to, because I couldn't even see for such a long time after what it really was that had happened, that he had abused me. And in fact, we left things as we want to be friends, and he can never imagine not speaking to me again. And then he never spoke to me again.
Towards the end of her stream, Shovel would describe this person in much more detail. She mentioned that this person was British, or English to be more precise. She mentioned that his house was filthy, that he had an ant infestation, that he
Yeah, and I'll mention a bit about the British versus American dynamics because there is a cultural difference regarding upbringing. Uh, and yeah, I believe I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Shelby is American. Um, and yeah, Wilbur is definitely British.
possibly financially abused her, though she admitted that she wasn't sure if that was actually the case, as she didn't know too much about financial abuse. Shelby would finish this video by claiming that she thought that this man was a genuine threat to others, that the way he treated her, despite claiming to be infatuated with her, made him a threat. She also said that the ways in which he made the active choice to treat her, in her mind, made him a genuinely bad person.
In my opinion, I do think that there are some things that are across a line that make you a bad person. I don't think that most people can be defined in a black and white, you're good or you're bad, but I do believe that there's a line that you can cross, and only bad people will do the things on the other side of that line. You know what I mean? And I watched a couple of things cross that line, and I truly feel now that my soul is so healed. I am light years beyond him.
A teary-eyed Shelby then
The Yeah, the thing about that is there really is no line between good and evil. It's a whole just sort of spectrum that you're never gonna get the exact same behavior out of a person. Even the most evil person you could think of may just they decide to do something good. So there is like you can put a line and sort of demarcate where you feel like this is enough to consider this person a bad person. But I think it's important to remember that these are abstract concepts kind of created by humans, and it's not it's not really fair to just put that line wherever you want because in the end, just as she is a person, Wilbur is also a person, and it was their relationship. I understand why she wanted to tell everyone about this because if he genuinely is a very manipulative person, then he people should know. But I I watched a bit of the other video before, and this one's when is this? Yeah, from 2 weeks ago. Sorry, it's a bit old drama now, but there's still more updates going, and the reason I'm really talking about it is yeah, I've heard a lot of like people from Wilbur's community are like ending their lives because of this, and yeah, first of all, don't do that. Nobody do that. Everybody stop doing that. Everybody needs to stop like idolizing people so much because the thing about something like that is, I'll give you an example of my own. When I basically cured my own body dysmorphia, it was so severe that when I like cured it like instantly, it was I guess body dysmorphia is kind of like a psychosis, and when it fell away like that, I yeah, first of all, I nearly had a heart attack because it was so different to what I was used to seeing, and as well, it was just I don't know. For some reason, I had like this desire to like this is so morbid, like claw my own eyes out because I could not believe I had been seeing so wrong for such a long time. But yeah, I kind of just said to myself like, no, wait, dude, don't do anything. Just wait, just wait, and eventually I kind of calmed down, and it was fine. But it is very disturbing when it's something that you have seen for so very long and believed for so very long is suddenly found it to be not true. It can be extremely shocking like that, and it can lead people to do extreme things to hurt themselves. And that's why I really think we need to stop idolizing other humans like this because they're not perfect. And if they do make a mistake, that delusion that you've had of them being this perfect like star of a person is gonna shock you so bad. It's really gonna be dangerous for your mental health.
Concluded the stream. She immediately saw a large wave of support, which was amazing to see. People on Twitch and Twitter especially seemed to have thrown her their unconditional support. However, then people quickly began to speculate who this person
Let me see some of these people.
Which was amazing to see. People on Twitch and Twitter especially seemed to have thrown her their unconditional support. However, then people quickly began to speculate who this person was, and one person immediately became the prime suspect.
I've been on Twitter a lot lately. I don't know. I guess I'm on Twitter now. I hate using Twitter. I've never used it before. Don't know what I'm doing. And everyone seems to expect me to, but yeah, well,
Probably know now that you've clicked on this video, that person was Wilbur Soot, a man known for his
he is quite tall. I mean, he looks like quite he he does look like quite, boyish from just his looks, but he's what is it about like 6'4" or something, 6'5". I assume he's got shoes on, so like 6'4". That is especially height is a very important factor in just strength in general. Being a very tall person, I know that like I'm quite grateful to be quite tall because I feel like I don't know, I feel like I would not be able to defend myself if not. I mean, of course I'm trained. Uh, I I am trained like extremely extremely over the top. Like this is ridiculous. I haven't even talked about this. I've like it was kind of by mistake. Like I have like Pavlov trained myself like some sort of fucking super soldier to punch so hard. And I think a lot of men I've actually talked to, like some of my friends, have told me they have come to that realization, the same realization that I did, that like if I hit somebody, like especially a woman, like women are built a lot differently. I might show some videos of like, and it's a TV show, so it's okay to show it, the difference between the men fighting versus the women fighting. I would not, I would try to avoid fighting other women because I think that could end really badly. And a lot of men they've told me they've come to that exact realization as well. Like if I lose control, if I don't keep myself controlled, I am going to hurt somebody. And I'm assuming Wilbur knows this. Not all guys know that because they don't. Some of them just don't fight, like don't like to confrontation, like George over here.
his
But
collaboration with the Soot House
I
channel,
think Wilbur
his work
probably
within the
knows.
Dream SMP, and these days being the frontman for the incredibly successful band Lovejoy. Before I move on to the next portion of this video, I need to set some very strict ground rules. Firstly, and most importantly, if I'm contacted by anyone involved within this situation, whether that be Shelby herself or one of her friends on her behalf, I am more than willing to take this video down. I don't want to tread on anyone's toes who I don't need to. From my perspective, I know that a ton of creators are going to be making videos about this. It's already happening, I've already seen a few of them, but I want at least one to be as informative and also as respectful to the situation as possible.
Also, yeah, sorry, I cut out his name. Let me move it a bit so you can see. I think this is the original guy. Yeah, I'm assuming this is the original video. Just so I'm not like cutting his name out of the credits. I just wanted the stupid there was like a, yeah, I want the stupid advertisement out of my screen.
Secondly, I'm going to be splitting the revenue that I earn through this video with a charity called Women's Aid. I've heard this one's very good, so this will be the one that I'm donating to, and this will be the one that I have linked. But if you have a different domestic abuse charity that you have a closer connection to, then don't be afraid to go and donate. One very important thing that I want to mention is that though this is a horribly, horribly negative situation, it doesn't have to end like that. We can turn this into a net positive. So with that said, let's discuss.
Also, since I know all the Twitter people are gonna be like skimming through my VOD, I'm gonna wait till the end to even mention Dream. So you guys are gonna have to, yeah, you're gonna have to go look through my VOD. I'm gonna mention periodically, because I know what you cunts are up to, and yeah, you're gonna have to work for it if you want information out of me.
First and foremost, it goes without saying, but the two were associated with each other. They streamed together and on several occasions were photographed together. There is plenty of evidence that the two knew each other and were frequently together, despite Shubble being American and Wilbur English, something that we'll get back to later on. The first major piece that Shubble brought up was that her abuse mostly came in the form of biting. This is a peculiar behaviour, so very quickly you can narrow down the people, because outside of babies and toddlers, very few people bite. However, as Twitter would very quickly point out, there have been several instances of creators who knew Wilbur personally who have come out on the record to claim that he had a history of biting.
Wilbur Soot has bitten me harder than that.
Yeah.
He just bites everyone. He'd bite you.
He never bit me when I met him.
He would.
To me? Yeah. He keeps biting me.
Various other people have uploaded videos onto Twitter of Wilbur biting cameras and whatnot, and what's interesting is that people in the past have tweeted about this kind of behaviour, years before the allegations came out. The second piece of major evidence of behaviour.
Every time Wilbur bites someone on camera and it says it's for content, I think about the Tumblr post with clips of him biting people off camera. I think Wilbur just like this person predicted. Oh god, yeah. It's probably a fetish that he just is very blatant about. I don't know why he's like that. Sorry, my screen was again. There we go.
Years before the allegations came out. The second piece of major evidence that pointed towards this potential abuser being Wilbur was a remark that Shelby made about this person having an ant infestation and living in filth. Twitter was very quick to bring up clips of Wilbur talking about his fascination with bugs.
I really like bugs. Ever since I was a kid, I was really into like bugs and insects. When I was really small, there was a bunch of woodlice that used to live in our garden. Spoiler alert for the rest of this episode, by the way. They're my favourite. Woodlice are my favourite bugs. Put that on record.
As well as that, this clip was later uploaded showing his bathroom with a massive hole in the wall, and this matched up to Shelby's description of her abuser's bathroom being the dirtiest that she had ever seen. This description uploaded showing his bathroom with a massive hole in the wall, and this matched up to Shelby's description of her abuser's bathroom being the dirtiest that she had ever seen.
That is the dirtiest you've ever seen? A wall flinging upon? You should see my bloody bathroom. I'm gonna fucking sell. That I mean the wall is peeling off. I don't know what that stuff is. Because this is in England as well, I'm assuming, and houses are built differently there. So, like a lot of English houses are built with stone, or they're just ancient. They've been there for years. I don't know if he lives in like a flat or a house, but they're all built much differently. And a lot of American houses are just made of wood. So I don't know what that stuff is. I think that's just wallpaper. I don't know who the fuck puts wallpaper in a bathroom, but that's not that bad to me.
This description of someone living in filth and squalor also matches up to Wilbur's admission of a previous lack of hygiene on Anthony Padilla's channel. Shubble says this about her abuser.
When I met him, he was washing his clothes without detergent. Just it wasn't using that at all. And I don't know for how long before I met him he was just running it with water and then hanging it on his filthy kitchen cabinets.
And back in January 2022, Wilbur said this about himself in the past.
So I slept on a futon on the floor with my dog, so I stunk. I didn't shower much. I used to sleep in my school uniform for the next day so that I could just roll out of bed and go to school. I was pretty repulsive.
Twitter was very quick to use these pieces of evidence to
Didn't shower much. I on a futon on the floor.
Wilbur said this about himself in the past.
So I slept on a futon on the floor with my dog, so I stunk. I didn't shower much. I used to sleep in my school uniform for the next day so that I could just roll out of bed and go to school. I was pretty repulsive.
Twitter was very quick
When he was in school, I'm not sure how old he was doing this, but that's people need to stop like, shaming everyone else for being so like unhygienic, because everyone else who says they're like completely hygienic like is full of shit. Not. It's also hard. Wilbur does seem like he's had a lot of depression throughout his life, anxiety, and especially because the school systems are not that different in England versus America, and they're both dog shite. Honestly, I should go off of it. I have a lot to go off about that. I have a big problem with the school system in both countries, but they're relatively the same, if not England being a bit better. But they're still very. Certain people just don't. It just doesn't work for them. It didn't work for me. And I'm assuming Wilbur's like that as well, where it just made him depressed. I was depressed all throughout school. So that's. I wouldn't call him like a filthy animal for that, for just sleeping in a school uniform. What's he got? What motivation has he got to clean himself up?
To use these pieces of evidence to start pointing their fingers towards Wilbur. And though a lot of people adamantly came out on social media to say that we shouldn't jump to conclusions before any clarity, to many, these details were tough to brush past. In the same vein, they also took notice that this person was supposedly leaving for an extended period of time. If we relate this back to Wilbur, as has already been mentioned, he's part of the indie rock band Lovejoy. This band over the past few years has been very active in touring. It would make sense that the two couldn't be together, as while Wilbur was touring, Shubble was still creating content and streaming, which is obviously extremely hard to do whilst on the road. On that note, one clue that Twitter didn't pick up on though was something that Shubble said about their relationship at the start. She claimed that at the very beginning of this relationship, everything was going well, and this abuser would make grand gestures towards her that would sweep her off her feet.
Then he made these huge romantic gestures. He wrote me the most beautiful love letter that I had ever read.
Wilbur, as I've already mentioned, is the lead singer for Lovejoy, and according to their Wikipedia, all 4 band members share songwriting duties. You could see how one might assume that someone who writes for one of the biggest upcoming bands in the world could have the capability to write someone the greatest love letter that they had ever read. Shubble's stream has since been deleted, though as of me writing this script, she hasn't come out to explain why. It's possible that now these accusations are out there, she finds that there's no more need for this video to be up. Perhaps she just...
I think, yeah, Shelby comes off as a fairly genuine person to me, so I feel her deleting the video isn't her trying to hide it. I think she kind of saw the extreme like response it was getting and didn't want it to get out of hand. So I mean, it's already up, but yeah, I don't think that's her being deceptive or anything, because sometimes it can be when you're trying to like hide stuff.
Just wants to move past it. However, in the backlash of this, things have not been looking good for Wilbur. His Discord has apparently been shut down for good, and his entire mod team have stepped down from their duties, saying that they would rather deplatform him than allow him to come.
In the same breath, we want to make clear that if Wilbur goes live to address the situation without addressing the situation at all, no mods will show up and we will remove the moderation bot from his channel. The only mod action that would be taken by this would be to remove the permanent emote only mode. That mods it just impossible for him to go live. Why is that? Oh, unless he magically figures out how to block terms. Turn out well, we can figure that out. He should be able to figure that out. I mean, I know he's got a large audience, but I don't think he really would get in trouble even for the what his chat is saying. So I mean, he owns the channel. He's like a moderator himself, and I know Twitch allows you to put in blocked terms. I don't know if they update during the stream, but yeah, you can always just you don't have to listen to chat either.
Come out and explain himself.
Oh wait, I should have run the rest of it. I don't know if he'll ever address it. I'm sure I honestly don't have much faith that he will address it at all. Sorry, I mumble so much when I speak because I read faster than my mouth can like make the sounds. Something else I want to ask for is please don't harass me or any Wilbur's mods. Everyone I've spoken to on that team has made it clear they should distance themselves with the following new information. Furthermore, the decision to close down the Discord server was not Wilbur's. He wasn't consulted. That's probably why you should own your own Discord server. So, I'm not saying don't trust other people, but somebody you really trust, otherwise they turn on you like that and take your entire server. You didn't ask for it to be closed, nor do I think he knows it's closed. Nothing to do with the Discord. And seeing where people conspire that the staff team has been complicit defending Wilbur in any way. I think I don't know how long this moderator team has like modded for Wilbur, but I find it a little hard to believe that if they've modded. I mean, I think he's been creating content for years. If he has been, sorry, this stream's gonna be long. No one here saying has to say the entire time or anything. Oh hi Juice, I didn't see you in chat. Thank you for being here. I'm just kind of waffling, but yeah, it feels a bit weird to just suddenly all turn on him like that. Like you haven't noticed anything at all when you were modding for him for potentially years. But it's just now all of a sudden that it's turned on him. It's like, oh, I don't want any of the backlash, so I'll turn on him. I don't know. I just, in my personal opinion, don't think you should try and go like genuinely be friends with somebody unless you like trust them 100% and would like know that they would not turn on you even at the backlash. Just start building very strong friendships. So I see a ton of weak, fragile friendships all over, especially Twitter. Twitter is filled with them. Everybody's like backstabbing each other there. There's not everyone. I've seen some really kind people, but I've seen a lot of people uh, lying, pretending to be fake friends for mostly for clout. It's kind of pathetic.
Saying that they would rather deplatform him than allow him to come out and explain himself. Lovejoy's previous photographer would come out with a Tumblr post that detailed her experience with the band, and though without naming them, it was definitely them. That said, her experience was not to do with abuse or anything, it was more to do with how she was treated by their management. Perhaps the most damning evidence, though, was given by their former trumpeter, who also came out.
Why is Wilbur biting everybody? What is he doing?
On the record to claim that she was bitten. This post was arguably the smoking gun, as this was yet another woman associated with Wilbur Soot who posted about being bitten around the very same time. After this tweet was posted, people were a lot more certain. There was no hiding from this anymore. So if we're painting a picture of who this is, we're describing an English male associated with Shubble who is known for biting, has had issues with hygiene in the past, mysteriously had to leave for an extended period of time, and is a wordsmith.
And I guess she did not name him in the video, but just kind of alluded to it in a way that made everybody figure it out, which is I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, if you want to protect people from this person, maybe just like name who it is. I know it's kind of scary, but he's all the way in England. He's not going to be able to get you.
Capable of showing immense gestures of love. To Twitter, there was only ever one suspect, Wilbur Soot. Towards the end of me making this video, Wilbur came out to publicly make a
His apology was that was a terrible apology. I mean, I guess for what it was, like he didn't really have a choice but to apologize. There's kind of nothing he can do to excuse that. But God, that was. I suppose it could have been worse. He could have pulled a Colleen Ballinger and pulled out the ukulele or guitar, whatever instrument he plays. But he should have really just put out a sincere apology and probably sent one privately to Shelby as well if he's like genuinely sorry about this. Instead of putting out this apology was so generic. I he seems pretty well spoken, so I assume he could write pretty well. And like I said, he's I assume he's gone to a pretty fancy just guessing. I don't know exactly where he's gone to, but he comes off to me like he's gone to probably a pretty fancy type school, probably like the one I went to, where they kind of train you on how to write in this sort of politician-like language, if that makes sense. If this guy doesn't, I don't think if he doesn't read it.
Statement regarding the situation. He claims that towards the end of their relationship, he had become slobbish, disrespectful.
Okay, yeah, hold on.
And
Let me just read the whole thing because you can't see it on here. In my past week, a series of allegations have been made over my conduct from an ex-girlfriend. I want to emphasize that although I feel it fair to offer my perspective, this person's feelings are completely valid. I've taken my time sharing the statement as I wanted to process and respond respectfully. Yeah, that's fair. It's people rushing him were like, I don't think it's okay to rush somebody to make a statement because you have to clean. Everybody's hyper and and everybody wants an immediate response, but you have to wait. This is a person, and he needs time to think to even process that he's being accused of something, what he's being accused of, what he needs to say, because every bit of his response, just as I said with George's, is going to be picked apart. It's going to be picked to bits. And if he doesn't say exactly the right thing, or he makes even one little slip up, they're going to like crucify him. I mean, so I suppose he did fairly well for what he had, but I think he should have put more emotion into it. During our relationship final months, I regrettably became slobbish, disrespectful, and selfish. These actions caused lots of pain to my ex-girlfriend. I since sought therapy to address these behaviors, making significant lifestyle changes to rectify my past actions. Yes, the corporate speak. I've come to realize how much my past behavior hurt this person, but I truly, compassionately believe I've made great strides from the person I once was. I hope I can continue to grow and improve on this trajectory. The allegations of abuse, particularly in the form of biting, deeply shocked me. I don't know why they would, although you bite everybody. Throughout the relationship, I understood from our numerous conversations and text message exchanges on the subject, this behavior was consensual, playful, and reciprocally enjoyed. It's not that everything she says is like, well, it would have been better if I don't know. I guess she doesn't have any like pictures of the bruises or anything like that, because yeah, not everyone thinks in the moment to like take pictures of this stuff, because she even said she wasn't really aware in the moment that it was abuse. But uh, yeah, well, I kind of don't believe him that he never thought this was that he was taking it a bit too far. He's I think she had said he'd even tried to like manipulate and say, "Oh, your pain tolerance is too low." It was consensual, playful, and reciprocally enjoyed. Apparently not. I truly believe this pers personal message exchanges reflect mutual affection and understanding. Out of respect for her, I chose not to publish them, and I emphasize my perspective is not shared to diminish or invalidate anyone's feelings. Uh, well, you're kind of being put on trial here, Wilbur, so you should share what evidence you have and yeah, share whatever messages you have. If you have proof, you need to share it. Otherwise, I still think he has not shared it. So show what you got, unless you think it's incriminating, and that's why you haven't showed it. Chosen to publish them, emphasize my perspective is not shared to diminish or invalidate anyone's feelings. Instead, I share it in the hope that I can offer a genuine, fair, and relevant insight into my understanding of the situation. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to understand his perspective. Uh, while I may perceive our interactions differently, I recognize that this person has processed and expressed feelings of hurt. I want to extend my sincerest apologies for any pain I caused. I'm fully committed to understanding and addressing her concerns going forward. I hope my perspective sheds light on the situation without detracting from this message. I'm dedicated to earning and maintaining the truth of those around me, and hope I continue to be held to the high standards I wish to attain and maintain. Okay, Wilbur, too much, too much. I think it's the other way around in England. Too much private school. You know, too much private school language. Like you did it a little too hard. And it sounds really fake. So I understand you're trying to not say anything that we misinterpreted, but especially this last part, this sounds exactly like the stupid shit they would make us write in school. I'm fully committed to like excellence and whatever the fuck, a whole bunch of bullshit. And then the casual signing of his name. And to be fair, she did. I'm pretty sure she did not name him in the video, so I guess it's fair for him to not name her. But I do think he should have apologized to her in this statement or whatever. He was probably too freaked out to do a video, but a video statement would be better.
Making this video, Wilbur came out to publicly make a statement regarding the situation. He claims that towards the end of their relationship, he had become slobbish, disrespectful, and selfish. He claims to have attended therapy and had made strides to improve the person that he once was. He also claimed that the allegation of abuse shocked him and that he thought that the biting was consensual. From his viewpoint, his behaviour was in line with what she wanted. He finished by saying, "I am fully committed to understanding and addressing her concerns going forward."
That was that was Wilbur's fuck up. I think that he was kind of too stuck in his own head that he really wanted to do this biting fetish. He projected that onto her that, oh yeah, she wants to be bitten, trying so hard to convince her that she wants this as well, when she's probably just not into this. I mean, I'm sure she's going along with it because she likes you, but if if she doesn't have this, you guys just do not really seem like you are actually compatible in the first place. And I know there's some people who, just from what I've heard about Will, he's probably not someone who's comfortable being single. and has to have a relationship, even if it's not with the right person.
He hopes that his perspective sheds light on the situation without detracting from its message. He says that he's dedicated to earning and maintaining the trust of those around him, and he continues to be held in the same high standard that he wishes to attain and maintain. This response has been immediately panned in a way I don't know if I've ever seen before. Many people.
Wait. There's some of these people. Let's see what they have to say. I'm not gonna name anyone yet. I probably will eventually, because I've seen a lot of the same people trying to cover up and trying to silence victims, and I don't think I'm going to talk about it in this stream, but it's actually quite disgusting. Just so they're doing it just for attention, for clout, and I don't know what you're fucking up to. I know what you're up to, cunts. I've been watching it this entire time, but hold on, I just want to. Mm, yeah, it did, it did a little bit look like a chat GPT response, but I think he probably did actually write it. That's just how that's probably how his school taught him to write. Very annoying people not reading all that and then just kind of send hate comments like read the facts before you go send hate. Stop being stupid, intentionally stupid. Manipulation tactics used in the statement alone is the same. Safe words were used and you ignored it. That's not consensual. It's assault and abuse. Well, you've gotten it's not enough if you think this statement is okay in any way. Honestly, yeah. Yeah, the complete denial. I think Wilbur probably has a pretty big ego, and that probably does come from. I mean, I guess now is a good time to mention it. It's I said this before on stream, but it's just new people. Uh, sorry about me. I repeat. I always say that I'd give a disclaimer because I am always like shamed in the past for like repeating myself ever. But I know there's new people I'm talking to each time, so I'm gonna like try to stop that. Uh, the just the it's I think it's a threat to his ego in most not all not every not everyone is raised like this, but generally in England, or just the UK, children are raised with the expectation that you're gonna grow up to be nothing. Most of them, I mean, some rich families aren't like that. And in America, you're kind of taught the opposite, that you can be whatever you want. Uh, but it's, and I'm sure Wilbur has had to fight. I'm sure he's had to struggle to be able to even have any sort of ego, even have any sort of value of himself as a valuable person. And so I can understand why it's difficult and why he's so protective of this ego that he's got, this image that he's got. But he really needs to let that go and be more authentic, because it's not, you can't fake it forever. It's eventually it's just gonna wear down at you. I agree. Safe words. You should always respect safe words. Absolutely, that's extremely important. And I I do think it could be considered assault. There's a when I talked about Katie and George's situation, it could technically be considered assault, but I would not consider it assault, especially considering she just lied about everything basically. But this is at least I would consider it abuse. But saying she's saying it's happened multiple times, I would consider that assault or yeah, domestic abuse or whatever it is. Just I think it's serious enough, but not serious enough to like make him like to have him killed or anything. I just do not. I don't think that's a fitting punishment, but I don't think people were saying that to him. I think. Let's see. He does need he needs to work on himself. I think he needs to like take a break from the internet again and work on figuring out what he actually wants.
People that were associated with Wilbur in the past responded to this in the replies and have let their voices be heard that this was a terrible response. The general feeling is that this feels very PR pushed. It reeks of someone trying to save face, not expressly admitting to anything that could get him in legal trouble, and it sounds like he's trying to protect himself rather than confront what he did. Not to mention that this response only describes Shelby as an ex-girlfriend, and this person, not once does it directly address her by her name. People have pointed out that there's only one apology in this entire statement, located towards the very end, and it's for the pain caused. It's been criticised for being very vague and non-specific. Responses to this statement...
It comes off as very ingenuine, and yeah. Should not so focus on the only defense I have for that is that she did not mention him directly, so I guess it's okay for him to not put her name in it. But if he really wanted to just apologize, he should just put her name in it, apologize to her, send her something like personally to if he wanted to go more in depth with like private stuff. It's very self-centered response.
Came in very soon after. Purple said, disappointing response. Focus on the victim's thoughts and feelings, not your own. Rambo stated, anyone who tries to downplay or discredit a victim's stories for any reason, especially for the sake of being able to watch your creator's content, is an idiot. Support victims before anything else.
I don't know, Rambo, but it's you should always be skeptical of story. That's not there's this rhetoric that it doesn't really match what is the correct thing in reality. You're not supposed to just automatically believe a story. I mean, I know you care about a person and you want to believe them, but it needs improve. I think even though Shelby didn't have pictures or anything, I think the obvious like testimony from multiple people about him biting the stuff about him yeah, continuously biting the camera is at least proof. I think she is telling the truth about all that. But you support victims before anything else. Think and listen to both sides before you decide who is the victim. Not just blindly support whoever you think is the victim. And in most cases, people think it's the woman, but it's not always the woman, you know? I think in this case it was, but not always. And yeah, you should put your bias away if it's a content creator you like, and just talk about this. Just think about them as people, like as if you don't know them.
Always. Puns then replied, saying you've been going through therapy and are growing is not the same as taking accountability. Downplaying your actions and discrediting the person you hurt? Shameful. Nihachu tweeted out that, while she did not see a problem with it back then, she could now see how harmful he was to her young self and how damaged she was from that time. Another one of his former associates, Tubbo, and how damaged...
My time in the UK, but why is everybody using the term freshly? It seemed with like the Instagram stage, weird. Well, let me see. Well, you don't see a problem with back then. You can see how harmful he was to my young self, how damaged I am from that time. Time in the UK is some of the darkest moments of my life, and I think people can tell from the way I used to act on stream. I still can't think too much about everything that happened back then without shaking. I don't want to. So unheard whenever I brought up my situation recording that time. I don't want to say anymore as I don't want to make this situation about myself. I mean, I understand her and not wanting to bring it up, and that's completely her choice. But I think it would help to add more people's perspectives. Just like, yeah, anyone who's had experience, just to get a better picture. But I do believe this. I don't watch Nikki that much, but she seems like quite a genuine person. She seems quite intelligent as well, and I've I understand. I can kind of recognize somebody else who's been through dark stuff, and she does seem like she has been through some stuff, and I don't doubt her.
She was from that time. Another one of his former associates, Tubbo, came out to stream on the 27th of February and said this.
Any person in this like community ever thinks about defending domestic abuse or anything like that, or anything in that vein, or anything that fucking serious, all right, you have no place here, and I want you to unfollow and I want you to leave.
A few hours later, Dream would come out with his own statement saying that Wilbur tiptoed around the real issues put forward. His slobbishness and disrespectful nature weren't on trial here. The important accusations were about abuse. As of me editing this video,
yeah, that was I liked Dream's response quite a lot, because it was, even though it was like a document, he just kind of wrote it. It wasn't so formal. Wilbur went way too overboard with the formal writing. And yeah, I think he got the point across.
Responses are still coming out. Jack Manifold's statement was one that represented something that a lot of people have been feeling, that being utter shock.
So, Will's someone I've known a very, very long time, and my experiences with him have never, or anything I've ever seen of him, have never ever been anything like what's been detailed. And do not mistake, I stand with Shelby 100%. I support her all the way. I'm not saying
it's probably because you're
it's just
a guy.
a shock. You know what I mean? Like all this stuff that I've heard over the past few days from not only her but the people in the replies saying what they experienced.
Men definitely, men will act differently around a lot differently around women than they will with their guy friends. So he's probably not going to be over there like biting you. So I'm not blaming him for not knowing, but just so people know, men will act differently to women than they will to other men, and women will act a lot differently to other women than they will to men.
That any of that was going on, and it's obviously been incredibly shocking.
Audience members need to keep in mind that these creators who knew Wilbur and Shelby personally have forged relationships with them over years. The severity of what happened behind closed doors might not have been known to the friends of Wilbur. And despite Shelby coming out on record to claim that Wilbur showed off these marks to his friends, a lot of people known as Wilbur's closest associates are still very young, even younger when this was likely occurring. Jack Manifold is currently 21 years old. Tommy Innit, who hasn't put out a response yet, but likely will soon after this video is uploaded, was a teenager when he met Wilbur. It's very possible that they wouldn't have recognized signs of abuse, even if they were present in front of them, especially as Shelby herself said that at the time, she would tell people that everything was okay. One very interesting response though was that of Just Minx, who stated, "Shelby deserves all the support right now. However, there are people responding to the tweet that completely ignored myself and other victims crying due to his clouds. I don't know if it was a work thing or intimidation, but I brought things up privately and they sided with him. I personally don't think half of them give..."
That's quite interesting. I personally don't know half of them give two fucks. They're just sheep following sheep. Oh my god, I would love to be friends with Minx, because she's a bit wild, but that is kind of what I've experienced as well. They're kind of, people will cover it up. Sometimes if you try to like discuss it privately. So that's probably maybe that is the reason she went publicly, because I've seen a lot of content creator relationships, and they they will just turn on each other at like the drop of a hat, and yeah, throw each other to the wolves just to not get not get any of the blame or anything like that, to keep their image. So yeah, for Minx, like I think she still streams a lot. Make sure you know to everyone. Make sure you know your friends, because there are people who are not your friends. They will pretend to be, and they're not your friends, and they will tell you to shut up if you've been hurt by somebody else that they don't actually care about you. They just want the reputation of being around that person. They will just tell you to shut up about it. So nobody ever like shut up. Don't be careful with your words, but never listen when somebody tells you to shut up
Give two fucks. They're just sheep
about like
following
abuse.
sheep.
I mean.
Now, I don't want to linger on this for too long because
Absolutely.
it's
Sheep
really
following
not what
sheep.
this situation is about, but if you believe in what Mix is saying here, and her statement is entirely plausible, then there could be more developments in this story later on if these people are ever named. But that isn't the focus of this video, nor should it be. There are plenty of other replies to this post too, 99% of which were fiercely condemning Wilbur. Simply put, this seems to be the end of the road for Wilbur Soot, a sentence that I never thought that I would say. More importantly though, this is about Shelby Grace. Within the past few hours of me editing this video, she came out on her alt account to say this. I could not have imagined what I would wake up to today. My ex pretending that he thought I enjoyed being hurt.
The alt accounts. Somebody needs to explain that to me. I don't understand what the alt accounts are for.
And all of my friends immediately coming to my defense. The support has brought me to tears. I don't even know what to say. I'll be back. I'll just be taking a little time, and for the record, I don't accept his apology. In situations like these, a lot will be discussed about the alleged abuser, but let's not forget that these are real lives, real experiences lived. From Shelby's tweet, it appears as though she's overwhelmed with the support that she's received. As I said earlier, just because something awful has happened doesn't mean that it needs to be a bad situation. We have the power to flip it into something with a net positive. I think that's so important I feel the need to reiterate it. With luck, these recent events will allow Shelby to move forward in her life in a way that she can be proud of, and we can look to her as someone who came forward and said the tough thing even when she knew that there would be consequences in doing it.
Okay. Okay, now that we've got that one, let's...
Hello.
No,
Communicate in
how
English
was that?
easily.
Stop. Okay. Okay, let's do the
A few
newest
days
one, because
ago, I made a video based on
Is this the same guy? Okay.
the recent Shubble and Wilbur Soot
I'm just like using this guy's content, but he put it all together. I couldn't be bothered to go find the videos myself. I've only watched like to right here. This kind of funny to me. I know it's not like a funny situation, but
incident that's been heavily discussed on social media, especially on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. That video, if I'm not mistaken, is so far one of, if not the biggest documentary explanation on it. But I wanted to follow up on it today with a video to discuss what's happened since the video was uploaded. I also want to discuss anything I missed in the original video, as well as give my own personal opinion.
I think he skipped over the part in her VOD. I saw some clips of it, but I think she had mentioned, because I wanted to relate this to what I had said earlier. I think she had mentioned that he at one point had held her wrists down and like wouldn't let her get up. Like he wasn't hurting her. Like I don't think he was like hurting her, but he was just like showing how he could pin her down like that, and she would not able to get up. Yeah, once again, the strength difference between men and women is absolutely insane. It is, I think, upper body wise, the arms are 3 times stronger for men. Like it's not the size is the same, but the muscle density and the hormonal, like the testosterone, and um, it will it is it ex extremely like men are just extremely strong, especially yeah around 15. I have the study for this somewhere. If anybody asks for it, 15 is like the average age when uh, teen boys will be able to outcompete Olympic trained women in most sports. So that kind of that thing she described where he pinned her down like that is just that just shows that he's aware of how strong he is, and I think he's trying to say he's like, I could hurt you, I don't want to, I want you to like accept me, but she probably didn't realize this, and not saying it's her fault, she should have done anything, but it's just she was not that into you, Will, but you should have realized that, and I just don't think they should have been together.
Opinions on the matter, because while if you watch the video you can probably tell which side I land on, I have some very interesting points to bring up that I don't think are really being discussed so far. So if you haven't seen the original video, go watch that one first and then you can come back to this one, but if you have seen it and you're all up to date, let's begin. So I want to tackle the elephant in the room right away, that being the Jebediah Springfield incident. So if you haven't heard about this before, literally the exact same time as my original video was being uploaded, like within minutes, a viral tweet was posted regarding a development in the Wilbur Soot situation. A Twitter user named Mia Clem Everett responded to a screenshot of Wilbur's Twitch channel stating, "Wilbur unmodding all his mods, including a bot they created to share links to domestic violence resources, then creating an alt account to mod himself, has to be the biggest loser moment of 2024, and it's only March." The screenshot shows that the sole moderator within his Twitch chat was an account called Jebediah Springfield 12345. According to other Twitter posts, this was an account created very recently. If you remember back to the original video that I made on the topic, I mentioned that Wilbur's mod team walked out on him. They refused to moderate his chat, saying that without mods, it's impossible for him to go live unless he somehow magically figures out how to block terms and turn on emote-only mode. According to other tweets, this mod was also apparently unbanning users that were getting banned for supporting Wilbur. In this tweet, from a now former mod, she notes that she was unmodded, and she witnessed that accounts that were banned for donating had now been unbanned. So who is this mysterious Jebediah Springfield 12345, and why does he have the internet up in arms? Now, if the name Jebediah Springfield sounds somewhat familiar, he's actually a character from The Simpsons, a show that Wilbur has previously expressed his love of. A more direct reference to this situation, however, is that Jebediah Springfield's former partner within The Simpsons is a guy named Shelbyville Manhattan, a clear reference towards Shelby, Wilbur's ex-partner. If the person behind this account was Wilbur, to what extent this character fit a message that he's trying to say is up for debate. Do keep in mind that to the best of my knowledge, this hasn't been confirmed as Wilbur. Some people are saying that it might have been a hacker, which is entirely possible. Apparently,
It's definitely Wilbur. It's definitely Wilbur. Wilbur looks like he is going through like the 5 stages of grief right now of him losing, I guess, losing his entire career. I really don't think he'll I don't think he'll lose everything. I think people will eventually just kind of forget about it, uh, like they usually do. But he's the just I know I say that because there's like he's going through complete like denial right now, and I think the the Jebediah Springfield thing was like a joke that like, oh yeah, I never cared about Shelby. I never cared about my chat. I never cared about like my viewers. I didn't care about this at all. He's like losing it.
Wilbur's old Soot House partner Matt was also promoted as a mod. He was the other one named Graxler, which would point to Jebediah Springfield being Wilbur himself. This account also
definitely
could just
Wilbur.
be a coincidence. There's no concrete proof that this was Wilbur or that it's not just a random name. Some people would then say that this was in fact intentional to poke fun at Shelby, and if this was in fact Wilbur, that would be where I land. And then of course there are some people that think that the meaning to his name goes even further, and that the morals and story of the big Jebediah Springfield episode, Lisa the Iconoclast, is actually what he's saying here. In the episode, Jebediah is found out to be a fraud and a fake, and the moral of that episode is that sometimes it's better to let people just live in ignorance. As I mentioned within the original video, Wilbur seems to have a very good grasp on the English language. He is a songwriter after all, and
That's an interesting perspective. It's maybe that's something to say about himself. Like, it almost seems like he's saying it would be better to never said it because that would hurt more people. But there's some situations where you should just lie to like a person, but this is not one of them where you need to like cover it up. It's
any good writer watching this will know that for writers, a lot of what's being told isn't being said. Also, since I began production on this video, I've since been made aware that this mysterious Jebediah Springfield now owns Wilbur's Discord. And so this is either Wilbur himself or someone in whom he trusts implicitly.
It's
Also
clearly
take
Wilbur.
note that this account was created towards the end of February. This is a burner, not someone who's been around for years on Discord. This is highly suspicious, and if it is in fact Wilbur behind this, and that name is poking fun at Shelby, it would imply that he just doesn't care. In fact, perhaps he even finds it funny. And this would paint a picture much more similar to Shovel's description of this person, and not the persona who we've seen on YouTube and Twitch over the past few years.
I think that's an interesting possibility, and I think it's solid. But I'm wondering if he actually does care, and he's just like I kind of feel like he's just spiraling right now, and is trying to like say no, I don't care about this, because this really does seem important to him, his image and everything. Yeah, especially his image, his online persona, as like I don't know, whatever kind of I forget the word for that. I think it is important to him, and he's like spiraling through the denial. Like I don't care. I don't actually care. This doesn't mean everything to me, but it probably does.
Charge fee is
No.
more than just
Why?
billing.
No ads. Shut up.
Up since the original video dropped was Shelby's response to Wilbur's response. Roughly an hour before my upload was released, she dropped this message split between two separate screenshots. It's quite a lot to read, so please pause the video and read it yourself if you're interested in getting the full flavour of what she said, but I'll give you the video and read it yourself if you're interested in getting the full flavour of what she said, but I'll give you a shortened TLDR right now. Within the first paragraph, she thanks everyone for their constant support, saying that she couldn't have imagined the response that she got. She then goes on to address Wilbur's response, saying that she's never seen an apology so self-centered. She says that her problem wasn't with being bit, it was with being hurt. She calls him out for his vague and distanced apology for the hurt he caused, and then lambasts him for referring to her as an ex-girlfriend. She then goes on to try and debunk the claim that Wilbur made in his statement. If you need to remember back to his statement, Wilbur said that he had DMs that he chose not to publish that would imply that she consented to biting. Shelby here says that no such consent was ever given, and that written consent over text does not excuse in-person actions. On the second wall of text, she explains how she didn't feel like herself for a long time, and tried to shed some light on how she viewed things while she was still in the relationship. She finishes the statement by saying that you can't treat people like this without consequences. You can't pretend you don't know the harm you caused, and you can't pretend that going to therapy will fix past mistakes.
That is true. I mean, but there's not really anything that can fix past mistakes, is the thing. You can only prevent future ones. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of when they are angry at somebody, they aren't really sure what they want, and it ends up being an impossible thing they want. They kind of say they want like an apology, but they really want people to They want the past to be undone, but that's just not possible. And I'm not saying that's what Shelby wants. I'm not saying for sure that is what she wants, but there's nothing that can fix what's already happened. You can kind of move on from it and try to prevent it from happening again. And I guess everybody can learn from it if people want to learn. But people kind of seem like they want to be stupid about it. That's mostly just Twitter though.
She's also come out to make a statement responding to critics of her story. There are a few
See timeline going around. Accurate assumption when last. Yeah,
creators out there who I'm not going to name that have been making content over the past week or so that are very skeptical of her claims. Some people have also been pushing the assertion that she's just doing this to gain clout, something that we'll discuss in just a moment. But Shelby is categorically saying here that this is not what she's trying to do. She's also put out a post to Twitter reading, "I have obviously never asked anybody to send death threats on my behalf. I am also receiving death threats. Everyone should stop. Why do I have to be the one to say that? I don't want people also receiving death threats."
I mean, most because you have a platform, and it was, I guess, your words originally, but I know that she didn't tell anyone to send death threats, but as someone with a big platform, you have to be aware that people are going to start doing extreme things, and you do have to tell them to stop, otherwise they'll just keep going. Sometimes they keep going anyways, but why do I have to be the one to say that? Just because they're not. I don't know why she thinks she shouldn't have to say no or like put her boundaries forth. I kind of think she's learned to like stand up for herself and be a little bit more assertive about her boundaries, and just if people from her community are doing things on her behalf, you need to tell them to stop, not just to expect somebody else to tell them to stop.
Everyone should stop. Why do I have to be the one to say that? I don't want people fighting each other.
People fighting each other in my replies. I don't want anyone wishing harm on one another. Yes, I spoke up because I didn't want more harm to be done than anyone else. Don't reply to people because we cannot change the mind of block them. Yes, I agree with that. I think she is being honest with this. She doesn't. I don't think she wanted any of this harm to come. Because I have heard there's been a lot of harm. A lot of people have gotten hurt from this, and I don't think that's her fault. But I think it is, once she knows about it, her responsibility to immediately say that, because otherwise people are looking for any reason to just hurt somebody. And if your words, even if you didn't tell them to, is a good enough reason, they will do it. So I have to go yell at everybody on Twitter every like 5 minutes, because anytime I say anything, they go and try to like kill each other. Obnoxious.
In my replies, I don't want anyone wishing harm on one another. I spoke up because I didn't want more harm to be done to anyone else. Don't reply to people we can't change the mind of. Block them. Shortly after these posts, Shovel would have her first livestream since the incident became public.
The only criticism I have for her live is that she should have been more clear. She should have just directly named Wilbur if she wanted to name him, and she should have been more direct about what she wanted to come from this, not just like I want people to learn. Like, what do you want people to say to Wilbur? Like, how do you want them to respond to Wilbur, and what do you not, specifically, what do you not want them to do? Because otherwise they'll take it extremely far.
Within this livestream, she discussed everything that had recently transpired. Her first point was a condemnation about some of the replies and messages that had been sent.
I have been sent horrible things since the first moment I spoke. The same people are not expecting the same of him to stop people from sending me porn, gore, death threats, and sexual assault threats. I cannot stress enough how much please do not click hidden replies. I'm not trying to hide criticism. That is a lie. There is legitimate porn and gore. Do not click it.
Yeah,
Moments
that is correct. Twitter is filled with. I don't know if that's an Elon Musk thing, like taking over the platform, but it's got a lot of gore on there. I don't really, it doesn't bother me, so I read the replies anyways. But yeah, there's a lot of fucked up shit posted on there, which is kind of crazy because there's a lot of young people on that app. What the hell is Elon Musk doing? Really fucked it up with the name.
later, Shelby would clear up her story's timeline, telling her viewers that her relationship with Wilbur was a lot more recent than many people had assumed.
I am also blocking anybody spreading misinformation, even if you don't know it. I will not be replying to correct people. I have heard people say this happened 2, 3, and even 4 years ago. All of those are incorrect. This happened last year. We dated for the entirety of 2022 and then months into 2023, and the worst of it was at the end of the relationship last year. And not only that, I don't believe the amount of time matters at all.
Following this, she sternly reiterated more points that she had brought up in the initial stream that a lot of people had seemingly since disregarded. I personally had plenty of comments on my video about the biting in which people were saying that it wasn't severe enough to be considered abuse, or that she said that she had consented to being bitten, but this was not the case, as Shelby herself would say.
I said myself at the very beginning of my stream that the biting was not the problem. I was okay with being bit. I was not okay with being hurt. And in my opinion, what was expressed to me from somebody else, if it is repetitive, daily, it is intentional. Even if it was just one time that he kept biting me after I said the safe word, in fact, multiple times biting me even harder, that is assault immediately. It is a complete abuse of trust, even once.
Shelby would then bring up another good point, which was that all of the pair's mutual friends immediately publicly stuck up for Shelby and took her side. These people would have a much more intimate knowledge of their relationship than the average commenter, and they very quickly abandoned Wilbur.
And if you think all of our mutual friends who knew us both
is because I know lots of creator relationships are fake, and they'll just side with whoever's the public is siding with, because they want more. They don't care about their friends enough to stick up for them. Which is why I don't like. I don't go around just. I don't know. I don't know how to be like that. How to act like that. It's difficult for me.
Intimately in private are supporting me blindly. You aren't being honest. I don't know how. You wouldn't assume. People we spent every day with wouldn't know more than you about this situation. You are not entitled to everything that everybody knows. Not everybody is ready to share their stories and experiences, but they have all asked you to support me, and that is not blind.
Now, some of the people who immediately took Shelby's side have repeatedly said, believe all victims. So perhaps they were
Yeah, I hate that statement so much, because they always assume the woman is the victim. I think she is in this situation, but that it's not always like that. You need to understand the individual situation before you go screaming support all victims and just assume that it was the man who was the perpetrator.
Always going to take Shelby's side regardless of her claims. But you've got to believe that if you knew someone well, you would at the very least question whether the
How well do these guys know each other? Do they understand how, like, I mean, I'm sure they're good friends, but how having a big platform, how having your career be based on your image, it's a lot of power. It's a lot to lose. Power corrupts. People will turn on each other just to keep that. They will turn on their close friends very fast.
behavior that they're being accused of matches up to the behavior that you've previously seen or heard them exhibit. We don't know this for certain, but there's a very possible chance that these people heard something from Shelby's statement that they deep down knew to be the truth. Shelby then continued her stream by criticizing the apology that Wilbur gave.
If all these people have like seen it before, I know they're sort of young, but they've seen it all before, or they've even seen her. She said some of the mutual friends had seen her be bitten. Then why didn't they say anything before? Why were they willing to cover it up or just look away when Wilbur was like popular? Like he was not being accused of anything. But now that somebody's actually spoken up, they suddenly like switch. Like you guys didn't notice anything at all. Was it all just fake?
For the first
Fake
time on
friendships.
video.
And in my opinion, the most obvious thing to me is that the apology is not genuine at all. If it was, I would have been referred to by name, simply. I believe at bare minimum, a requirement for a sincere apology is to say the name of who you are speaking to. I think by not saying my name, that can only be done out of disrespect.
She also makes the claim within this stream that not only did she find out that she was not the first to be his victim, but she was also not the last.
I didn't coordinate this because I didn't know how many more people had experiences to share. I actually didn't know biting was something that had happened before me until after I spoke about it. I didn't know. I'm only sorry that I couldn't protect everyone else because there were more people hurt after me. And I am sickened.
Trouble would then end her speech and get on with the rest of her stream. Of course, it wasn't only Shelby's response that's been released since the original video dropped, others have had their say too. I didn't talk about him in the original video, but Philip Watson, better known as Philza, was a longtime friend of Wilbur, and actually one of his closest associates. Himself and Wilbur were oftentimes seen as parental figures within the Minecraft fandom on account of them being much older than the likes of Tommy Innit, Rambo, Jack Manifold, and Tubbo. These two in particular seemed very close to each other, which was why a lot of people were waiting to hear Philza's response. A few days ago, he posted to his Discord this message, which reads, "Hey guys, at everyone, I'm sure many of you know Shelby, Shubble, came forward about the abuse she had received at the hands of Wilbur during their relationship. After watching her stream last week, myself and Kristen immediately reached out in DMs to show our support. As you can imagine, I'm deeply saddened by all this. I'm struggling even now to put this all into words. So I ask you please support Shelby and other victims, and
Sorry I'm late, just got off work dinner at the drive to my hotel, be back in a bit. Alright, Juice, no problem. I'll see you back in a bit. I'm just gonna keep waffling on about this.
I will still do my best to make my streams a safe place for everyone.
And you're good for being late, don't worry about it, you're okay.
Believe victims, always." Not too long after that, another creator who...
all the weirdos who were supposed to be in chat, I think they're busy with somebody else's stream. I know it is, but I can tell who everybody is in my stream. It's really funny.
Who was close with Wilbur, named Quackity, came out with a brief live stream regarding everything that's happened. Within this live stream, he stated that Wilbur would no longer be part of the QSMP, Quackity's multilingual Minecraft server.
This next topic is very difficult for me to process, and it's an extremely sensitive thing, and I was waiting for the correct time for me, but that can wait no longer, and I need to let everyone know that Wilbur is no longer part of the QSMP.
But it's not just mainstream creators who have shed light on the situation, a former friend of Wilbur's has too. It appears as though this person has since made efforts to try and distance himself from the situation, so I'll just be calling him T for the purposes of this video. On the 27th of February, he had this to say. "I've spoken my thoughts many times over the years, both publicly and privately, on how I feel about that man, and usually made to feel like I was in the wrong for multiple situations and occurrences. Frustrating that this is the situation it took for feelings to ring true. My wording is sloppy here because I'm running on little sleep, and this situation is certainly not about me in any capacity, but these behaviours aren't new and have been observed previously, and I'm upset that he didn't make changes to himself to fix that." Now, T has a channel in which he's previously uploaded multiple videos on Wilbur. He had previously shot a portion of the I'm in love with an e-girl music video, having met Wilbur at university. What was very interesting, however, was that upon seeing his tweets, I went to his channel to see any videos that he and Wilbur had shared together, just doing a bit of research. I found a video in which the two of them were collaborating on camera together. It was one of the most popular videos on his channel, and so I watched that and then went to do some other stuff and closed the tab. When I came back a few hours later, this video had since been deleted, and I thought I missed my chance to download it. However, upon doing more research into this, I was able to find a re-upload of the video that was dated to July 2022. It appears as though T had uploaded this video to his channel in early 2021. Between then and July 2022, he had seemingly privated it, and then between July 2022 and now, he had unprivated it, and once more, just now, he had reprivated it. But back to his tweets, he's posted a few more times in reference towards Wilbur, painting a very different picture to anything that we've been led to believe about the man. He even claimed that what could be expected to be a negative experience with Wilbur was written about in Lovejoy's song Concrete. Some people on Reddit have speculated about what this experience was, but this is neither the time nor the place for that unless he ever comes out with more about it. That post, by the way, has since been deleted. Of course, Justa Minx also responded to the situation afterwards, and although some people will see her as unreliable based upon her past, others think of her more as a whistleblower who's unashamed to speak about her experiences. Within a live stream after the news became public,
I would say the same because Minx, I've seen a bit of Minx, like she gets clowned on a lot, and yeah, what has she got left like to lose? I mean, she already does a lot of them. I'm quite embarrassed things. No, I'm not hating. I find some of her streams quite enjoyable, and I think, yeah, I don't see why she would go around lying about it.
Minx recounted a party that she went to in which she claims to have witnessed Wilbur yelling and screaming, leaving a girl that Minx didn't name in tears.
I've had my own issues with him in the past, and a lot of the people who have responded to the tweet were there at the time, and they basically took his side. Said accused person was basically yelling and screaming at, well, I'm saying quotations, at a victim. Like, it was kind of like a fight. They were crying, he was screaming.
Minx then claims to have confronted Wilbur about it before getting kicked out of the party.
I was just like, I got in their face and I was like, what the fuck are you screaming at her for? I was like, fucking calm down. It kind of went back and forward. She was like trying to split us apart while crying. She was like, at one point she like kind of went to the floor sobbing and stuff.
Do keep in mind that this was a party in which alcohol was present, and Minx does have a reputation about being a bit problematic when drinks are around, but she claims that this incident caused her to lose friends. If you believe her story though, one would have to ask the question, just how much of an open secret was this? Many people who knew Wilbur have since come out to say,
oh god, yeah, that's right. That's why I'm inclined to believe Minx, because she doesn't really seem like she. Yeah, I mean, she gets drunk a lot too. She probably was drunk at that party and got involved, but it was probably something they didn't. I don't know who was at that party, but something that was, I guess, communally agreed on not to say anything about. You know, I'm assuming this is Wilbur like yelling at somebody, like obviously, and yelling like that can be very abusive. I've experienced that myself. It's very traumatizing. Yelling at somebody who's crying is sobbing is absolutely not okay. And yeah, why wouldn't she be the only one? Of course she's drunk. Why wouldn't she be the only one who's brave enough to try and step in, and people get mad at her for not playing along and just ignoring it? It's disgusting that how much cover-up going on. I don't know who's involved, but I'm genuinely disgusted by this stuff.
That they weren't surprised or even shocked to hear the news. Perhaps with some time and space, more people who have been negatively impacted by the now 27-year-old's behaviour will come forward with their experiences too. I'm gonna have to pause the video right there because in the past few days since I recorded that line, one damning statement just has. This confession just might about change everything. In the last few hours before this video was meant to be uploaded, a woman named Alice came forward on Twitter with a damning statement of her own. Let me preface this by saying that she did mention that she would be annoyed if YouTube news channels monetize off her trauma, and if you ever see this, Alice, I don't know if you will, I sincerely apologize in advance. With that said, I think it's really important to include the statement within this video for anyone that doesn't have a Twitter account or just hasn't seen it. I also think that she might be directing this more at bottom dweller creators who make money by avidly denying allegations and calling victims dumb whores, as recently happened to Shelby. Regardless, Alice left a long statement that I'll link in the description for anyone who wants to read the entire thing, or you could pause the video now to read it all. She starts off the statement with some proof that her and Wilbur had an intimate relationship. Herself and Wilbur as seen here engaging within couples photos. She stated that she began dating Wilbur in 2019 and She, just like Shelby, experienced love bombing, which is an action described as the practice of lavishing someone with attention or affection, especially in order to influence or manipulate them. And if you remember back to Shelby's statement, she too explicitly stated that she thought that she had been love bombed by Wilbur.
And looking back, I do believe that the way I was swept off my feet at the beginning of this relationship was 100% love bombing.
Apparently, one of Wilbur's close friends told her to be careful, as they had seen people get hurt in the past. If this is true, then it would suggest that Wilbur was already notorious for having a habit of poor treatment of his partners, even years before he met Shelby. Alice went on to state,
I'm sure people knew that. Yeah, I'm a little not sure about the love bombing thing, because sometimes someone who's very insecure like that, very unstable, and just wants to have a partner, he'll get really excited, like, oh yeah, this seems like a really good person for me, like I want to give them everything. But then just certain types of people get bored easily, and well, they don't want to break off the relationship, they kind of want to like make it work. It just needs to go. You just need to like let go. And yeah, I don't think the love bombing absolutely has to be done out of malice. Sometimes it's just done out of like a person is just very irresponsible with, yeah, just being a very irresponsible person and getting really excited and like, oh look, new relationship, getting bored, breaking up, finding a new girl, and like, oh, new relationship, excited, right, now I'm bored, break up, new girl. And it sounds kind of like Wilbur has a history of that.
That after an initial honeymoon period, it was like she was dating a different person. Once more, this is eerily similar to what Shelby was saying. Shelby, within her initial statement, said that at the start of their relationship, he wrote her poems and performed grand gestures of love, but soon switched up his demeanour. Alice then described him as controlling, which doesn't sound dissimilar to how Shelby described the streamer, and then later on within the statement, Alice dropped yet another piece of damning information. She stated that she too had experienced Wilbur's biting habits. If I'm not mistaken in saying, she is now the 5th woman to come forward and say that she had been bitten by Wilbur. She then accused him of essaying her and calling her a lesbian because she wasn't interested in him. She finished her statement with a paragraph that I thought was especially poignant. These past few years have been extremely difficult to navigate because of this. I couldn't go online without seeing him everywhere and being adored as this soft boy who heroically respects women and mental health issues. Shelby was right. Being quiet wasn't bringing me any peace, it was only keeping his. And that line right there about Wilbur championing women's rights issues, being known to his audience as a feminist, while simultaneously allegedly treating the very people who he claims to support so horrendously behind closed doors, truly stood out to me.
People give TikTok such a bad rap. I genuinely believe there's like, can you?
There are streamers who generally don't have a persona. Like, I don't have a persona or anything because I have to play one for real life. But I think Wilbur's a lot of, or most of Wilbur's online presence. If you don't have a persona to play in real life, then you will want to make one online. So I'm assuming most of what Wilbur shows online is a persona. And I think that's quite common with a lot of a lot of streamers. I don't blame them for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when that persona is like, it can get difficult when you have to play a part like that, and sometimes you just realize it's not you, and it'll come crumbling down. The real you will show eventually.
Name something that teenage girls can be interested in without being made fun of. This really bothers me. You know, when we're talking about things that really annoy us in modern media, this is the one for me. Teenage girls have nothing they can be interested in without being mocked, and I think that's hella unfair and sexist and bad.
Does that sound like the person who Alice is describing? Or was this all just a facade? Was his persona merely an amalgamation of what people wanted to hear? I don't know, but with this statement, things are looking
I've heard that exact thing before, and he definitely could have got that. On like, whether or not he believes it is or if it was just for his image, I don't know. But that is that is interesting. I think most of what Wilbur like presents himself online as is quite fake, and he just kind of suffered the consequences of being a fake person. Just I think, I'll let him finish.
Worse for Wilbur's reputation than ever before. This will be my last video on the Wilbur Soot situation, unless something crazy happens at any point regarding it. But this kind of video will probably be in my wheelhouse moving forward, so subscribe if you enjoyed it. I hope that anyone who watched him can feel a little bit less guilty about it, and that anyone who is negatively impacted by him can soon come to peace with it. With that said, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, so I oh god, camera makes my eyes look fucked up. I 100% support Shelby in this situation. I think she definitely was victimized, and she didn't do everything perfectly in her response. I do not think she should be getting hate for this, because this does seem like this is a thing that was covered up, and it seems like it was covered up to protect Wilbur and other people who have personas, their images online. And that's not fucking okay. It really strikes me what Mink said about how she was kicked out for intervening, and kicked out of a party for intervening in an abusive situation. Like, why would you guys be kicking someone out who's trying to stop a situation like that, unless you're trying to silence the victim? And right, and since I've talked about George and Katie's situation, yeah, again, Katie just like straight up lied about everything. That is an example of, I think Shovel was quite genuine. Well, I think I have heard a bit about Katie's friends, and I always kind of assumed they were all not the not the best people, and they may have manipulated her a bit. They may have encouraged her to do this, even possibly knowing she might get a lot of backlash for it. I don't know that for sure, but I do know it was that was complete bullshit. What she accused George of, accusing him of sexual assault like that. She made it all up. She made it clear she was in all of, like, from just the brief stuff I saw from her, it was all about numbers. All she cares about is the numbers, is clout. And I think she was completely fine. Just I really think she she was completely fine just like throwing him under the bus in any way, just to get some fame. And I still don't think she's come back from her break. I'm curious to say I'm sure she'll eventually come back, because people don't know what else to do. But just like Wilbur has, like, I think I just saw like a video from Jack Manifold. I didn't watch it, but it showed up. I think he's not happy. A lot of people online who do this stuff are not happy. They don't. It looks great and luxurious and everything, but if it's not really something you want to do, it's fame. It might look like it'll make you happy, but it probably won't. And it takes a lot of learning about yourself, I guess soul searching as you would call it, to figure out what makes you happy in life, why that is, and to make sure you're correct about the conclusion you come to. I think I did have something else to talk. I had one other situation to talk about, just because a lot of people were asking me to talk about this, so let me pull it up. And I could not find the entire video for this, but I just want to. How long is this yeah, I wanted to talk about the situation with this TikTok. I think that TikToker, yeah, Inquisitor, because multiple people asked me to talk about it, and I did not have that much time to do research for it. I did not see the entire video. I could not find it, but I've seen like a million videos like that, and I know how they go. But I believe it was over an allegation. It was over an allegation that this person ended their life on live stream, and I see a bigger issue of how yeah both men and women are like treated really well and really bad in society, just in different aspects. But there is a lot of problems with how society treats men, like especially when brought in divorce court. It's like always the mother who gets the kids, even if she's been really fucked up to them. It's always the man who's like the abusive one. I saw another story recently where what was it? I'm not sure who showed it to me. Where I think it was yeah, like a woman had been abused, like physically abusing a man for yeah, like years I think, and he just wasn't able to do anything about it because if he says anything about that, who's gonna give a fuck? Nobody really gives a fuck if a man is a victim, and I think that's really sad. I don't I don't think it's a joke. There's so many. God, I'm trying not to like say the. I'm used to YouTube censorship, so I don't know how much what words I can like say and not say on stream. But the suicide rate is the mental health is bad for everybody. It's bad for both sexes, but for men it is getting really extreme, and especially because it's one word, one accusation, and suddenly you're guilty. That's not fair. That's not okay. Let me try to. Okay, hold on. I'm pulling up. I'm trying to find a YouTube video because I would assume YouTube would not have gore on it, but I mean I have seen, but not in like a large video. So I'm gonna try to find like a video that's monetized just briefly talking about this. How long is it? Oh god, this video's really long. People making jokes about this. Sorry, now it's playing. Okay, let me skim through this video. Let's make sure there's nothing in it. Okay, alright. No, I'll show it. Sorry about the plus yeah, I don't use TikTok at all, so I didn't even know about this until a few people in my chat had like brought it up and asked me to talk about it. I'm gonna update my stream title. Fuck it, you know what? I'm leaving it. My bad for always like speeding these up. I always watch them check speed. I wish they would go faster, but I just I know it's too fast for other people. So I'm going with the moderate 1.5. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I forgot the. Hey guys, I genuinely don't understand what Will is doing. It's like he wants to ruin his reputation. Yeah, Wilbur is. Sorry, I just finished talking with him, but I'll keep going because yeah, I want to make sure people understand. I think it really looks to me like there's just a lot of streamers that have a persona, and Wilbur's was kind of like this sweet soft boy persona, and that was not like what he was in real life. And I think he's had everybody, like his friends, to cover up for it. And it's seeming like there's been a lot of abuse covered up, yeah, by a lot of his seemingly close friends. But then suddenly, when somebody actually like spoke out about it, because a lot of people have said they have been abused or bitten by Wilbur or whatever, because he likes to bite for some reason, and they did nothing. They did nothing. They silenced the victims, which is despicable to me. But once Shelby finally spoke out about it. Oh, sorry, getting through ads. Okay, I'll pause. Sorry about that. Wait for a second. Oh, okay, back. Is my oh yeah, my audio's back. What was I saying? So yeah, there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on in like the streamer world, and I'm curious to see like what people's responses are because it's very easy for me to tell when people like lying, being deceptive, and I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna keep talking until somebody gives me a reason to like, or tells me a valid reason to like not talk about it. Or I don't know. I want to see if somebody tries to bribe me. But yeah, Wilbur is. I think once the situation, once Shelby finally spoke up, then his friends kind of had no choice but to turn on him because otherwise they would be cancelled as well. So they're a bit of fake friends kind of because they helped cover it up, but then once he actually got in trouble for it, they just left. But what Wilbur's doing now, I think his response is just it's just pure panic because he doesn't know he doesn't know like what to do now. He's freaking out. He seems like he's. It seems like it was really important to him to have this grand image, and now that it's been shattered, he's he's like spiraling. He's it's definitely him making that like alt account to mod himself, to manage his Discord, trying to use like Simpson references, which to pretend like he doesn't care. But he obviously cares a lot about his image. He cares a lot about his band, his career. So I think he's panicking right now. And honestly, I don't really know what he could do to fix this. There's not. I don't think there's really much he could do besides just kind of endure it, endure the hate, and hope everybody forgets about it when something else happens. But I don't really feel that bad for him, honestly, because he knew he what if he had people covering up for him, and he knew what he was doing was wrong. So yeah, it's a shitty situation. There's a lot of fake people, especially online. I personally, just for Wilbur, I think he needs to like, yeah, I think he needs to go take a break, figure out who he is, and what he wants, and then if he wants to come back, he can come back. Otherwise, I don't know, maybe he has enough money to retire. It's a good point, and something I've definitely noticed between Brighton Gang versus Dream Team. Like, Dream Team called out George's behavior, but still stood by him and believed that he can improve, whereas all of Wilbur's friends either abandoned him or made excuses for it. Like the Love Lovejoy band just really makes me think about who are the better people. Exactly, exactly. That's kind of the reason why I started speaking about it in the first place, because it seems I they everybody from Twitter does not want to come like just ask me, but they're like they keep asking who I am and how I know Dream. Yes, I do know Dream IRL more than I do online. Uh, and I can say him and his friends are a lot more. They're still a little. They still are from like a lot of different places, but I can say that they're definitely more genuine than seems like these friendships, especially. And for God's sake, I do not ship like June. I think that's kind of weird to do. I think they allowed it because it was the hype, but I think it's kind of weird to do that. Uh, but I think they do have a good friendship, and I think Dream probably views him like a brother. And yeah, I did. Yeah, I heard him sobbing about it because it was kind of like being forced to turn on George. Otherwise, he's going to lose his career as well. So I'm glad that they're like taking a break from this, so it's not. I think I I watched Sapnap kind of turned Sapnap waited a bit, but he turned on him a lot faster than Dream would. Dream like cut it down to the absolute wire. He really did not want to. Uh, so I think for what it is, they have a pretty solid friendship. The three of them. I think Nick is streaming right now. Sapnap, I mean. Um, he's he's probably on King. But I think they do have they are more loyal to each other. They're more trustworthy, and I think they're not as manipulative. They never should have played into this ship IRL. Should have stayed in the SMP for real. It I really think yeah, it was a hard choice because like, it was that was I didn't see any of the Dream SMP because I was kind of like semi in a fucking coma. I don't even know how to explain that. Um, I didn't see any of it like except towards the end part, and I wasn't able to catch up because I didn't really understand by the end. And I understand it made them a lot of a lot of money and it had a lot of fans, so I kind of understand why they did it. But it has just spiraled out of control, and they should have stopped it a long time ago. And now it's just, yeah, I'm trying to help as much as I can because I do know they are quite genuine people. No, nobody's perfect, but they are quite genuine, and they're not really they're not trying to harm anybody. So yeah, everyone makes mistakes, but if I have to say in a just stay around certain creators, I prefer with them than the other ones. And that probably is why the Brighton gang hates them so much, because they probably want them to like give in and cover up more stuff and like perform. They don't really want to do that. I know George is like a shit actor anyways. He's not he's not great at it. So I don't think he'd even really be capable of covering it other than just like staying silent. I don't think he wants to like do that. I think he just kind of wants to keep doing his career, and I really hope he's able to go back to streaming. I think he will be, but I think he just needs a bit of time. I think. Oh, yeah, I see your Twitch content. Yeah, I wish I'd been there for that. I was not even involved in this. I'm a relatively new streamer. I usually just play video games. But I guess I don't know. Now I'm talking about people. I'm gonna go over this trigger warning for like mentions of suicide and stuff. If you're new to to chat, people ask me to review. I don't know if you heard about this TikToker Inquisitor, his death on live. It's not gonna be shown in the video.
October 9th, 2023 marked a grim chapter in TikTok history as a disturbing live stream left viewers shocked.
If any of you watched the live, I'm really sorry. That shouldn't have happened. You shouldn't have had to see that.
In an era where exposing and cancellations are at its prime, is it possible some allegations are made with the wrong intentions? That's allegedly what happened to TikToker Inquisitor 3, and the public is outraged.
And so two people who made him do that, you two are disgusting.
Let's unravel the truth. His name was Vincent, a 23-year-old famed Italian cosplayer who was known by his over 100,000 fans on TikTok as Inquisitor Ghost or Inquisitor 3 for his striking portrayal of Call of Duty's Simon Ghost Riley and the Inquisitor from Star Wars. Little did he know, his last post would be in late September, in full cosplay wielding a red lightsaber. Inquisitor wouldn't make it past October 9th, and he made sure the world was watching his last moments.
Guys, I don't know if you know about something that is happening right now about Inquisitor 3, which was Inquisitor Ghost. He is currently dying right now, live on TikTok.
The video was difficult to decipher at first. A dark room and a reflection on the glass in the back.
I had Pyrocynical talk with this. Absolutely heartbreaking. I don't know if this is the best video. This is just the one the one I found, but yeah, the fact that multiple people were asking me to cover this, I felt it was probably important to talk about it. It does sound absolutely heartbreaking, and I don't know this situation, but from he was falsely accused, and that's what made him like end his life, because just the pressure like that. People don't understand that when they're online, it doesn't really look like a mob. I mean, even in real life, people will just go with like a mob, and yeah, mob mentality. But online it's even worse because you can't see the whole extent of the mob, and that is I think that's actually I don't know if it's used by the government, but I know it was used by a one troubled teen industry, which is like a horrific practice that we'll talk about sometime, because I've had personal experience with it. It's kind of like where you sell your children to like a camp, whatever. And one camp I remember, this oh yeah, this guy who's made a comic about his experience at the school. I think Ellen. I'm not sure. It's always good to hear this perspective on this. Yeah, I think it's just good to get other perspectives out there. Especially as well, just like it's easier to fall to mental illness when faced with online abuse than IRL abuse, because at least you can turn into IRL supporters for help. You have no online support, it feels like you're completely alone. Yeah, exactly. It's I think it's even harder as well to like to turn on your friends, but it's so much easier online because it doesn't a lot of the time it doesn't feel real, but it affects people's real lives, and people can die. And yeah, I've seen a lot of mental. There's being chronically online does seem to have perpetuated a lot of mental illness. I really think it's important for people to take breaks sometimes. That's why I just don't immediately answer Twitter. I know I probably should, but I just, for my own mental health, I just, sometimes I don't even like read my replies. And yeah, if you're completely invested in your online life like that, and everyone leaves you, it just feels like you're so alone and so hopeless. And God, that's tragic.
Background. That's until someone began breaking the glass. Inquisitor couldn't be seen in the video and the comments were turned off of the original live stream. So fans watched on, unaware and unable to speculate with one another. That being said, some took to their own pages to describe what appeared to be happening.
You can see some people trying to bring him back. He's on the floor right now. You can see.
Being said, some took to. So fans watched on, unaware and unable to speculate with one another. That being said, some took to their own pages to describe what appeared to be happening.
You can see some people trying to bring him back. He's on the floor right now. He's done.
After the ordeal, reports of the livestream were circulating with many trying to piece together the shocking situation. Where's Inquisitor in his live? One commenter asked. The door was locked and Inquisitor took his life, and then someone came and broke the window to get in and did CPR. But sadly, he was deceased and it was too late, another commented, filling in some blanks. As for who that someone was, viewers theorized it was either a neighbor, a paramedic, or a friend who ran over after seeing his live stream. But it was too late. Fans were devastated to learn that Inquisitor had, in fact, ended his life during his live stream that day.
He has been pronounced dead.
Fans offered their condolences through moments of silence, a soldier salute, cracking a glow stick, lighting a candlestick, and sharing art in memory of Inquisitor. Days later, fans noticed Inquisitor's content was scrubbed, and later his account was removed altogether, likely due to the chilling nature of his live stream days prior. Inquisitor's fans were devastated, and those who knew the truth were disgusted and angered.
And I wish the absolute worst on them for weaponizing their platform. He did not deserve this.
Caro, a 21-year-old lesbian.
Ads.
Down a dark path.
Worse on them for weaponizing their platform. He did not deserve this.
Sending one person down a dark path with a post captioned, "Revenge or Revenge." The last photo slide docs Tito, a TikTok Call of Duty cosplayer who had a large impact in escalating the situation, revealing personal information about his whereabouts, workplace, family, relatives, and more. The post
I absolutely bloody hate people who will go and dox people like that online. Like, why do you need to do that? Why do you need to bring your online drama and try to like spread somebody else's information so they can be attacked? That's extremely malicious. I don't think people take doxing like seriously enough, but it almost seems like it should be like a crime. I mean, I don't know if it is, but it should have a lot more consequences. People are just doxing left and right now.
post was liked nearly 300,000 times before it was removed from the platform. As for who Tito is and what his role was, well, for that, we need to rewind and introduce Tito's girlfriend, AJ. It all started when Inquisitor was accused of predatory behavior with 17-year-old AJ. Her connection to Inquisitor? She was an editor who had worked on some of his videos. As for the details of the accusation, her connection to it all started when Inquisitor was accused of predatory.
Is it? I'm gonna see if that's the only thing, but if that's 17 and 23, really?
Behavior with 17-year-old AJ. Her connection to Inquisitor?
Is that bad?
She was an editor who had worked on some of his videos. As for the details of the accusations, screenshots from March 26 were circulating showing Inquisitor using endearing terms towards AJ, such as, "I love you so much," "honey," "I'ma marry you." And even on a more personal note, telling her his real name, Vincent. In another conversation with Diana, someone who knows AJ, she asked Inquisitor about his proposal to AJ. He allegedly responded, like, "She's far away and too young. I like her, like she's my type, literally, but meh." Then Diana questioned if Inquisitor knew AJ's age, to which he allegedly responded, 17, 18, I don't really want to get in trouble. Pedophile ass, Diana boldly asserted. From the messages, it's unclear if Inquisitor knew AJ's real age and where he got the numbers from. It's also worth noting that in Italy, where Inquisitor resides, AOC is 14, but generally, many still view this as too young. As for AJ...
Okay, well... And it's... So he's way over... She's way over the age of consent in that country. So you just go throwing around terms like that. That's extremely reckless. I don't know who that person is, but that's extremely reckless. You just go somebody, I don't know, I trying to use a British term for it, but a pedo basically, like, you can't just throw that around. That is like a disgusting thing, and imagine saying that about somebody who's over the age of consent, like just talking to someone
Her
who's
whereabouts are
around your
unknown,
age.
so we don't know her AOC laws. But did Inquisitor mean the messages in the way they were being interpreted?
I don't know where she was, but so I don't. If they never
He
met
was
up,
misinformed of AJ's age and thought she was 18. There would still be a 5.
I think AOC shouldn't be that low, but yeah, they were accusing him wrongly for sure. Oh yeah, I mean I agree it shouldn't be that low, but just that there's no reason for them to like. It's since it is that low in that country, there's no reason for them to even bring up that term. But I personally think maybe like 16 or 17 is better. I think 18 is little. It's kind of high.
5-year age gap, aligning with his alleged statement calling her too young. And how did this all come to light anyway? Well, the old messages were brought back to light in mid-September when screenshots of conversations were sent to a Call of Duty cosplayer community Discord's moderator. One of the mods, Jay, informed Inquisitor that these supposed messages were showing Inquisitor in a questionable light. Jay was gentle with the conversation, introducing the topic as problematic things brought to his team's attention. Bringing up the screenshots that were shared to the community, Jay added that the conversation in question seemed really off, and they didn't believe they were getting the full story. So Jay reached out for more context. Before ending the message, Jay told Inquisitor the Discord moderators didn't plan on taking any action just yet, not before getting his side of the story first. Confused, Inquisitor asked what the problematic conversations were about, and that's when Jay first shared the news with him. They were accusing you of pedophilia. Inquisitor vehemently denied the allegations, even pointing out that he has younger siblings. I'm certainly not a pedo. Jay highlighted the conversation had been with a 16, 17-year-old, but added, now me and the whole mod team don't feel like these are accurate or proclaim the whole story, which is why we reached out. This made Inquisitor skeptical. Had Jay actually seen evidence, or were these allegations the spiteful creations of someone opposed to him? Jay noted that DM evidence was shown, but he felt the conversation was missing context. He also reminded Inquisitor the screenshots were
not really show that that much. Not enough to ruin his life over. Oh god, this is completely unrelated, but I know there's not many people watching, but I know there's gonna be people watching my VOD. I know people who are watching my VOD. I sent an email to him because I need to get in contact with preferably like Carl Jacobs or one of his mods, just about like a slight issue with one of his employees, not another content creator, but someone asked me to get in contact with him, and I just want to make sure this gets to him just so he knows about it. And it's nothing big, but I don't know. If he don't respond, I'll try messaging one of his mods because yeah, he doesn't have DMs on Twitter.
From March. Confused, Inquisitor asked, can I see them? Inquisitor was baffled, trying to explain himself. Bruh, AJ was my editor, and I treated her like that because she used to make a lot of vids for me. It wasn't like that. When Jay asked whether he knew she was under 18, Inquisitor didn't seem to know, responding, she is? I don't know. He insisted his messages were misconstrued kindness, and AJ never expressed discomfort with his comments. As for the reason AJ would suddenly turn on Inquisitor, he theorized it may have to do with their sudden falling out. And I think that AJ got mad because I stopped talking.
Let me know if this is like too. Okay, yeah, I put it up a little high. I'm not gonna put
to
it
her
up too
since some
fast.
people told me that she wasn't a very good person. But then the conversation took a dramatic turn since some people told me that she wasn't a very good person.
It's incredible how people really want to hurt others. I think AJ got mad because I stopped talking to her since some people told me that she wasn't a very good person. That I could definitely see happening. I've seen that happen before. If you feel like, so if that person feels rejected, then they lash out and they start making accusations. And that's not okay. You need to, people need to have like higher self-esteem to be able to accept rejection. Like, it's okay. It doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't mean you're like, there's anything wrong with you. It just means that this is not the right person for you. Or maybe not the right time, you know? Just find somebody, just be patient. Stop taking it so personally when somebody rejects you.
Person. But then the conversation took a dramatic turn.
God, stupid ads.
You have to. Jay explained. The short explanation was, you got quoted and someone replied with, you know he's a pedo, right? Inquisitor responded, OMG, I feel so f***ing bad right now. The plot thickened when Inquisitor shared his own evidence. A message from mid-September from a user named Tequila, who later admitted was AJ with a different display name. Just take a look at what AJ just sent me. First she faked to be some type of fan, and now she claims she didn't do shit. The messages from Tequila read, OMG, hi, I love you, date me, joke. I'm not a minor. To which Inquisitor shut down immediately with, I'm not interested, I'm sorry. Tequila instead insisted they be friends, but Inquisitor stood firm. Not a fan on the way you acted, TBH. If you can please stop texting me, you'd be very kind. After nearly 9 hours of silence, Tequila messaged Inquisitor again, revealing she is AJ. I never exposed you, I just want to talk with you again. Inquisitor had enough and confronted AJ about spreading false rumors about him. AJ denied it, but Inquisitor said, so who's this? Paired with a screenshot of AJ saying, you do know that he is a pedophile, right? I got a lot of proof. She was caught red-handed, right? Well, not without a fight. I never said that. Diana is on my account. I forgot to change my password, AJ argued. Unconvinced,
Sure.
Inquisitor responded, bro, get a life. AJ continued to defend herself, but Inquisitor demanded AJ fix the situation, adding, be very careful on what you say, seeming to allude to the false allegations. AJ, confused or playing dumb, continued to question Inquisitor and suddenly dropped a shocking statement. I just missed you. I missed talking to you. But why would AJ, who was supposedly made uncomfortable by Inquisitor's previous messages, suddenly send messages about missing him and joking about wanting to date? Well, there's a story there too. AJ allegedly told her boyfriend, Tito, she was uncomfortable with the comments Inquisitor made while she was his editor. But it seems the comments from March weren't enough to justify the couple calling out Inquisitor online. Tito wanted AJ to get more compelling proof. It's not life or death crisis. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to keep flirting with him and see where it goes. If he starts to get intimate, then I will expose him. We just need better and more proof. From their conversation, it's clear AJ thought the screenshots she already had from March were enough, but Tito didn't agree. And his main goal was clear. Get Inquisitor canceled.
Get him canceled. Oh my god.
Baby, we need a reason for him to get canceled. Flirting is one thing, intimate texting is another. So that's what she tried to do. Even later exposing that she did lie to Inquisitor when she messaged him again, in an attempt to convince him that she was over 18. Another DM also leaked, showing AJ plotting to flirt with Inquisitor. Then, someone else joined in to fuel the fire against Inquisitor, spreading these revelations like wildfire in early October after the influencer A.E. Keegs, also known as Keegan's Mask, exposed the private DMs to her audience.
Keegan's Mask began sharing these messages out of context in a desperate attempt to paint Inquisitor as a predator. The thing she left out, however, is that these were just enthusiastic responses to him finding that she had created so many edits for him in such a brief amount of time.
TikToker Bravo07, who is a part of the community with over 300k followers, also seemed to stir the pot.
And now I'm going to talk about Inquisitor Ghost. I've seen a lot of proof about this cosplayer, this content creator that always gave me the ick.
Sorry, this guy talks a bit fast. I'll slow it down.
He always seemed over the top, so full of himself. He followed me around 3 weeks ago. I wasn't alive, and he kept complimenting me, like, you're the best, you're great, and everything, so I followed him back, because this friend of mine spoke to me about him a week prior, and I know a lot of tea about him already.
In fact, before Inquisitor's live stream, Bravo07 was seen posting videos like this. Inquisitor is back. My honest reaction because I know Keegan and I are doing to bring him down again. Dancing. Despite the messages between Inquisitor and AJ never escalating to anything intimate, cutting contact with AJ months prior and adding MDNI, minors do not interact, in his social media bio, the community was still divided. Some people put the responsibility on Inquisitor. There are minors out there willing to lie and manipulate grown adults.
Absolutely.
It's the adult's job to ask for ID and have common sense. I don't know why everyone's mourning over a
There are, but no, not everybody knows that. But then again, I still haven't what country she's from. But if she's not like a minor in that country, so
while
this is
others
clearly a
didn't
setup.
excuse.
I have to go to bed, but thanks for speaking with me. Good luck with the rest of the stream. Thanks. I'm just kind of waffling on for the rest of the stream, but I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
AJ and Tito's behavior. The girl said that she was over 18. People really need to stop pretending that being a minor exempts you from any and all accountability. So a couple kids just murdered someone and they aren't getting charged? They were plotting this since March. This is premeditated manslaughter. One person allegedly messaged Tito, warning him AJ could be in legal trouble. He acknowledged that, but informed the user he broke up with her. The saga took another twist as Keegan's mask faced backlash, prompting her to delete the controversial video that fanned the flames of this he said, she said incident. Unfortunately, the damage had already been done. Inquisitor ended his life. And some of the responses were unwarranted. According to those who watched the incident unfold, Keegan's mask allegedly made fun of Inquisitor's deceased body. Bravo07 allegedly posted this video sometime after Inquisitor's livestream ended, with text on screen that read, Inquisitor dipping before the allegations because he knew the was about to down. Keegan and I, Batman, saving Gotham, the COD community, from the Joker. P.S. Bravo also posted this video, making judgments about Inquisitor's reaction to the backlash.
And firmly this person needs to be locked up. You know, things like what? Whether he's actually or not, what he did on the live stream, it makes him mentally unstable. He needs to be locked up somewhere. He's a danger to himself and many other people.
It's possible they thought the livestream was fake, as Inquisitor was never clearly shown in the frame. But the responses still came as a shock to the community. And amidst the turmoil came the responses from those involved. Keegan's mask defended her actions.
Dude,
All I did was call Inquisitor out for...
That is disgusting, to set somebody up like that. And call him a pedo. And have it... Now it's actually resulted in his death. That's absolutely disgusting. Assuming they have suffered no consequences for this.
Acting like a pred. Look at my TikToks. Nowhere did I state anything other than the fact it was weird he was speaking to and about minors. What AJ did was wrong, but that does not justify his actions. I posted it for others to become aware and used him as an example. Nowhere did I state I wanted him to be injured. In a separate message, she wrote, at no point did I wish harm against Inquisitor, and it hurts me to hear the news of his passing. Adding,
she didn't say that. You didn't say you wanted anything to happen to him, but you knew what would happen if you. What else would be the point of making the accusation? You wanted to hurt him, and the setting him up for that. I mean, maybe she didn't know it was gonna result in that, but she really wanted to cause severe harm to this man.
Didn't feel responsible for the threats, doxing, and false allegations that resulted from her videos.
Did everybody just immediately believe her? Or did he just panic immediately? I just really think in general people shouldn't make impulsive decisions, but either way, that's still it ended how it ended, and just because she's a minor, I don't even know if she's still a minor. Probably, I assume 18 by now, but that does not excuse for accountability. Sorry it took me so long. There was a mall parking lot. I just had to have some donuts. No problem, Juice. You're good. Yeah, I mean, reviewing Inquisitor's death right now. Nothing, no gore or anything in the video. Just somebody's video of it, because it is honestly it is disgusting to me. Hearing about this, hearing with this who off himself, this TikToker. I don't really use TikTok either, but a lot of people were telling me about it because it was it was quite similar to the situation that George was in, where there was a false allegation made, and it seems like he was pressured into ending his own life. And this was over like this was very clearly like a setup though. Like I think these two girls, he was talking to one girl who was like 17 online. I don't think they ever met up or anything, but he wasn't really that interested in her. Tried to like stop speaking to her. Oh, she'll just suicide videos and dark side of the web. Yeah, I'm sure same ones you have. This one he was not. I don't think he was visible in the video, but it was like confirmed that it did happen, and you could see someone breaking the glass to try and get in and resuscitate him, but he was already dead by that point. So yeah, I've seen some of those horrible videos where it's like clear and frame, and it's very disturbing. I don't know exactly how he did it. I had some rumors. I don't want to say the term online, but I think neck rope, that one. So yeah, this.
I acted on what I was to believe was factual information from someone I trusted, and was used. Continuing, she noted that she removed all posts about the situation from her page. I wanted to use my platform for good, to expose allegations to find a deeper truth. I never wanted it to escalate the way it has. Bravo also posted a statement to his profile. Inquisitor disappeared a week before the drama started, and I could not contact him. If he had an active account, I would have gladly asked for his side of the story. However, I am not the one to blame for this. I was blinded by what I've been told, still by said girls, and tried to make excuses. I take accountability for what I've said, and I can agree that my following could have done more harm, but I'm asking you not to say it was my fault he passed, because it wasn't. I feel horrible about everything.
He died. I don't know how much more harm you could have done. I mean, aside from multiple people dying, but she like there's text showing that they set him up, that to call him a pedo just to make that accusation.
May he rest in peace.
I feel horrible.
Revelations and apologies also came from AJ and Tito themselves, but not before Tito shifted the blame.
Sorry, right? Yeah, that
Revelation
screenshot right. That we need a reason to get him cancelled. They wanted him cancelled, attacked, whatever. It didn't matter. Just bring some sort
and
of harm to
apologies
him
also came from AJ and Tito themselves,
for rejecting her.
but not before Tito shifted the blame to viewers, alleging AJ tried to end her life due to the backlash. Then came Tito's video.
Okay, so I'm here to talk about my side of the story with the Inquisitor situation.
He started by saying that he and AJ were talking about the situation back in March, but it stopped shortly after. That is, until recently.
She found his account again on TikTok, and she was telling me about it.
Sometimes the lows of bipolar depression.
Saying that she wanted to expose him.
He then shared the screenshot of his conversation with AJ and emphasized that he wasn't wanting to ruin Inquisitor's life.
All I'm saying right here is that I want more proof to convince myself that he is a...
But his video took a turn when he pointed the finger at his girlfriend's actions.
I did not tell her.
There was absolutely no proof that he was like a pedo or anything. That as well, he's from Italy, that where the age of consent is, I think it said 14 or 15, which is quite low, but still, I guess that's the law for the country. So there's not even any excuse for that to be a term to be thrown around at all.
To lie. I did not tell her to crop screenshots. I did not tell her to edit things. I am being completely honest with you. I really don't know why my girlfriend would want to expose him with only that proof. And I know what she did was wrong. She apologizes.
He went on to explain that he watched parts of Inquisitor's livestream, and that since it was posted, he and AJ were getting a lot of hate. He even revealed AJ stopped eating due to the massive personal messages the both of them had been getting.
She is getting nonstop DMs telling her she should end it. And I am getting DMs as well telling her she should rot in hell. And I really just am asking you guys to stop.
Tito ended his video saying,
But I really just want the COD community to get better. Really, we didn't mean for any of this to happen.
Do you play? Wait, I think no, you play Apex. No, I don't know if you play Call of Duty. I've heard that's one of those like toxic games ever. I didn't even realize this was a part of that community. And I don't know what to say on whether what punishment she deserves for that, but I think she should be held legally accountable in whatever country she is, because I don't know, the laws might be different there, but that doesn't seem like something she should be able to get away with.
So, there's my apology. I'm sorry. Nobody deserves to die.
Tito also posted a text apology claiming he would never forgive himself. But was that enough for the community? Were they ready to forgive and forget? Judging by the comments on a reshared video of Tito's apology, probably not. Bro saying they should stop. My man went through worse because people thought he was a pedo. Too late to apologize. He's deceased because you and your girlfriend.
Exactly.
Can't wait till he gets criminal charges. And finally, AJ's apology. In it, she wrote, I hope one day you can forgive me for my stupid actions. I learned from my mistakes. Please just stop sending unaliving threats. A person passed away. Please do better, COD community. I will do better myself. Rest in peace, Vincent. An apology that, according to this TikToker, was not accepted.
This apology is bullshit. If you think that's, like, true, sincere, they took the comments off so nobody can comment, of course. You know, just because they don't want to get any and have something happen to them, even though they didn't care when it happened to someone else. And exactly, they were the freaking cause of it, like, okay. It's mad weird.
Since the final...
They're only apologizing because they have to. I really don't think these people care at all about what they did, because it's so far removed from them that it's like nothing to them. Like, just like the way nobody really cares about all the stuff that's made in China, that a lot of it's by slavery, but it's just so far away that even though people know about it, no one really cares. I can't like pull myself up as somebody like who doesn't. I'm aware of that, but there's just not really anything I can do about it at the moment. I know Apple phones are a lot of clothing companies, a bit like slave labor, but I think that kind of most of all the stuff is it's hard to avoid, and I at least like to be aware of it, but it's so hard to avoid.
Uploads in reference to the situation, all three.
But it is, yeah, I think people at least need to understand that even though you're not physically close to another person, it can affect somebody else. It can affect lots of people. It might sound wrong, but there's actually more slavery going on today than when it was legal. That is, I agree with that completely. There's, which was it? It was McDonald's, wasn't it? That was trying to make it like illegal for people to quit. So I'm like, so wait, are you guys like basically trying to advocate for slavery? Especially in the workforce a lot. There's a lot of it's basically like slavery. Not just in other countries. I know it's really bad in other countries, but even in America, even in first world countries, wherever, it's bad. It's God, sorry, I didn't. The amount of slavery, such as human trafficking of women, children around the world is absurd. Holy shit! I did. Oh God, Fuck. Hold on, let me finish this video so I can just. I'll talk about it in a minute, because now I've fucking thought about it. It's not your fault or anything. I meant to talk about it. I'm just briefly gonna mention it because
three have either deleted or made their accounts private. And Bravo 07's account was allegedly banned from the platform, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing to some TikTokers.
We did it! We did it! We did it! We did it!
A video whose comments were also filled with support for Inquisitor. Justice for Inquisitor. Tito needs to go to jail for what he's done. Accounts can be replaced, but nothing can replace what we lost. A sentiment of disgust was shared by many others, including Viv, who posted a video in reference to Keegan's mask stating, "You don't get to deactivate your account and try to run away from the consequences. You drove this man to the end of his life, and the stains are all over your hands." Which she captioned, "Keegan's mask, I hope you feel guilty for what you have done. You take sides without knowing what actually happened." And he also had an MDNI, minors do not interact, in his bio, so AJ overstepped his boundaries. Inquisitor's supportive community has rallied together in a Change.org petition in hopes of honoring him.
I didn't want to see him go like that. He just wanted to spread kindness and positivity.
I heard his story, and I don't think that anything that happened to him, he deserved.
In remembrance of a life tragically cut short, his supporters have initiated a Change.org petition to fulfill his dream of being immortalized as a Call of Duty skin, keeping his spirit alive in the game he loved. The petition states, calling on Activision and the creators behind Call of Duty to honor Inquisitor's memory by creating a skin based on him, a tribute many stood behind.
I cried a little bit, honestly. I saw the live. I just think his memory should be kept alive, and this would really help with that.
Let's all sign this petition, and may God bless Inquisitor in heaven.
The petition has nearly reached its goal of 50,000 signatures. Many people shared their feelings under the petition. People started a witch hunt with absolutely zero valid proof of the allegations against him.
I want to look from here. I have to finish sending an email for work. Okay, no problem, jeez. Yeah, this is an absolute starting witch hunts like that online is over allegations is that's a good term for it as well. Witch hunts. It's not acceptable. It actually affects people's real lives. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. I mean, what year is it? Jesus, are we still doing this? We are still doing witch hunts. Like, when are we gonna learn? When are we gonna finally learn?
He did this over a lie. He didn't deserve this. It took losing an entire life for most people to realize actions have consequences. People are fragile. Not everyone can handle the pressure of such immense allegations. May he be at peace. As well as aggression towards those who allegedly are to blame. He passed because of cyberbullying. You Tito. You Keegs. You do not deserve to be in the community anymore. Go f***ing rot. On the other hand, numerous fan accounts have been made to pay tribute to the cosplayer, including one reposting a number of his videos to honor him. An Inquisitor's Instagram account is now managed by his father, who shares fan tributes for his son. His father also linked an official GoFundMe to help alleviate some of the strain and help the family bring those responsible to justice so they can answer for their heinous actions. And if it truly was the allegations of behavior that led Inquisitor to end his life, it just goes to show how dangerous words truly can be.
It's time as a community and as TikTok, we did better and we do better. This has got to be it. Like, everybody needs to learn from this. We lost one life far too soon, and soon there'll be more added to that if people do not start treating each other better.
Cyberbullying and false allegations can ruin someone's life. If you find yourself in a similar situation, please seek support from people you trust or reach out to a national lifeline. In serious conditions, seek legal help for ways to clear your name. You do not have to face it alone. As the unfortunate incident comes to an end, one thing remains clear. In the world of cosplay and social media fame, not all is as it seems.
I'm curious. I'm glad somebody mentioned this video because this case is extremely tragic. It's interesting to see the response of, I guess, how it could have gone. It's very morbid to think about, but could potentially, like, is he legal action against Katie for this? I don't know that he will. I don't know that he could, but I don't know. I'm quite good at finding stuff like that, so we'll do bits of digging. As for right, yeah. So that was TikTok. I'm sure TikTok is not much better than Twitter, but it's one of the toxic places on the internet. I heard it got banned. I don't know if it actually did, because it seems to be still working, but this should never have happened. This should not be happening again. I mean, sure it will, but I do think there's the problem as well, is that this woman and her friend, they knew that she, like, as a woman, is going to be believed automatically, and that should not be a thing that's happening. This stuff is so far removed from the actual like justice system, from real life, that people end up taking justice into their own hands, and it doesn't. They're fucking it up. They're doing it awfully. This is an awful job at like trying to get justice for something. Just these people who have zero attention span or patience to even wait for the facts. I've seen online people like just go accusing me every time I post on Twitter. It's like it is right there in my like. If you just scroll down a little bit, you can find out stuff, but there's immediate go to accusation, and I don't really care because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me what people. It doesn't really. I don't really seem to have like an ego or anything. Uh, but yeah, I do. There's so many issues in the world. Especially the slavery and the human trafficking thing. While I'm at it, I might as well talk about the troubled teen industry. And I think I mentioned, yeah, Joe vs. the Cult. I really like his comic about that, but it's a disgusting industry. There's a reason why I never really studied psychology. Apart me gave up on trying to understand human behavior a long time ago. Not saying I don't care, but we barely have the capacity to understand ourselves. Oh yeah, it's a very very difficult subject. I don't know why I studied. I studied both psychology and I like biopsychology the most. Um, it is a very difficult subject to comprehend, but I feel like I've quite quite well uh I know quite a bit about it, and why not speak about it? I think yeah, there's a lot of covering up that always happens for predators. I mean, tons of scandals. The government is even like complicit a lot of the time in the troubled teen industry. And for most people who don't know what that is, it's like a thing where it's like this whole system where you can, if you are rich enough and your child is like basically doing anything, like you can make up anything, whatever you want, as long as you just pay the company, they will like take your child, like literally kidnap them. uh, you can kind of like sell your child, and they will take them away and bring them to the middle of the woods and not tell them what's going on. So I got that for I don't know existing too hard. uh, but I'm like a stubborn piece of shit, and I got pissed off. I was just like, you know what, I do not I do not care if I die. I'm not doing a human trafficking. I'm not. This is not happening. And I actually got out of it. But that industry is terrible. Most people like get there and I didn't know exactly what it was at the time, but most people will get out of it or not get. They will get to the actual program place. I got out in transport, and they will yeah be horribly like abused, and there's nowhere for them to go because it's usually like in completely in the middle of the woods, completely isolated. If not, sometimes they do other countries, but there's ones that's the one that Dr. Phil does as well, sending people to the ranch. That's fucked up. That's a fucked up program, and I don't like Dr. Phil that much because of that, because it's really scummy. It does not help people. It does. There's so many people have been hurt by it. Uh, Ram Ranch. That might have been what it was called. I just remember he always be like, he would kind of just for dramatics, he'd be like, you know what, I'm done with this guy. Okay, send him to the ranch. Like, yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you, Jay. Yeah, I think it was like a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, but they will like sexually abuse kids. They will like beat them, like harm them. The famous one, Ellen, that got shot down, had like this they had a boxing ring where they would make children fight each other, as well as like a shame circle where they have everyone go and at scream like horrible things at one person until they like just broke down crying. And yeah, this is all detailed in Jovis, the Cult of Ellen, his comic. It's long, but it's good. I don't think he's finished with it. So that is like horrific. I'm really glad I avoided that, but it was caused a lot of trauma just to get out of it. I think that's why I got the partial concussion. Fuck, I don't know how to mention that. I actually doesn't sound too far off from Ramage. Oh, is that from game or something? Ramage? Oh, is it a song? It's a song. I don't know. What? Oh, is this a porn video or something? Oh, it's a me. Okay. Um. Yeah. Fuck. I don't know. I know you. I looked it up briefly. I could not tell what was going on, but now I'm kind of curious. Uh. Yeah. Sorry. I know you're the only one. Like. I think there's a person watching, but I kind of. I don't know. Just now that I'm like talking, the more I talk, the more I kind of don't care. But I really am like stuck in it. It's teenage boys God. I knew it was gonna be something weird like that. Like my family is here right now. Like, have you ever seen like, I'm gonna play this video. Sorry distracting you from your work email. The case of Jordan Turpin. You probably heard it. Sorry to digress. Actually, I don't think I have heard it before. But it's, I mean, yeah, this girl, I'm glad she got out of it, but I don't know. I just talking about other people. I'm not really like I'm not really supposed to talk every time I post on social media. I kind of get like starved for it. That's it's not worth it. Totally bro thing. uh, and I don't know really what to do about it because it's when you have lots of money, like my family does, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and cops don't care. Nobody really gives a fuck. I think. Sorry, it just makes me really just yeah. It's both my mum and dad. They're both fucking psychotic. I don't really know like what's going on with them. But sometimes they act like it's like I don't know 1080 England. They've like regressed to a time where your only value is if your own property or if you. It's really. I think I have talked about it a little bit before. It's like psychotic and that's why I try to post on social media, but like for every reel, I think I have like five or so or six TikToks posted because every time I post, it's it gets worse for me. But I really like I'm trying every time I speak, it gets worse. but I'm kind of just trying to like say fuck it and do it anyways because I don't want to let them get away with it. I don't want to let them get away with it. Let me see a short one. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like this. I mean, hers is a bit different because I don't think she had access to the internet. That's the only reason why I sound and act kind of normal. Kind of. Because I have had access to the internet for, yeah, about like, how old am I? Yeah, like 10 years now, I guess. So I was able to educate myself with that. This is pretty bad. This I have such like a problem. I've never like streaming is more comfortable to me than texting people, like typing to people on the internet, because I don't I can't like hear the tone or anything. I've kind of learned to hear emotions from just very slight different types of communication. And I've learned that's what I learned trigonometry for, to be able to translate like 2D images into a 3D space and do like 4D as well, sometimes to calculate just like locations or time or event, whatever. Just it's kind of, I guess it's kind of physics as well, but I study it because it helps. I could technically leave, but yeah, I do have siblings and I do have pets and stuff, and I chose to come back here because I felt like it would be cowardly of me to leave them leave them behind, you know, because I kind of grew up, I guess like as a feral child or whatever, and I know how to like speak animal language for the most part, and they feel like people to me. Yeah, I have siblings and they're younger than me, and I yeah. One of them is an adult, so he's here right now, but he did get into college, so he has like a place to leave, but one of them is still underage, and I don't I can't like leave him. I just can't bring myself to do it, and I have a lot of pets. I just don't have. I don't. It's not a very rich area I live. I mean, I guess this area is, but I don't. Like a lot of my friends are quite poor. They're not other like rich people, so they don't have a yard or anything, or the ability to like they live in like dorms and stuff, so I don't have anywhere to take my like pets or anything, and I don't know. I don't think I could live with myself if I just left them here, because I know I have left briefly before to live in an apartment, and when I came back, everything was like rotting, and animals were all sick and everything, and everything kind of here is just like rotting. Like the food in the fridge, like there's just insects everywhere. The house is falling apart, and I keep getting like punished every time I post. It's more and more like I should be cleaning this, cleaning that. It's a massive house, and uh, fuck, I don't know. I think it was the last, or not the other day. It was a while ago. So I lose track of time because I kind of isolate myself in here to stay away from them in this room. So I don't know. That's why I call it a cell sometimes. That's why it's a fucking mess, because this is all my possessions. I'm to go my fridge so I can't eat eat like frozen food. I take this thing of vodka, and if my food is spoiled and I don't have anything else, I just drink vodka with it. Spoiled food. Uh, I know I don't like that thing because I do know how to scavenge fairly well, and there's a lot of food around here. It's not. It's I don't know. It's such a difficult situation. I took I yeah I don't know. I don't know why she was mad at me at the time. I think it was because I had posted something. It was just like a reel on Instagram or something, and she said I shouldn't have like any more food. My mom, and I found some like food in the garbage. We my parents have lots of money, so there was like a whole bag of pistachios. Pistachios are so expensive in the trash, and it was fine. It was good. So I took it out, and she was pissed at me for that, and what is this? And so I just gave them back because fuck it. It's I think I've taken like video and stuff just in case they try to clean it up, but I don't want to just let them get away with it. I don't know. Sometimes it's hardly noticeable because I do blend in fairly well, but I think a lot of common stuff. I have a very good memory, so I can remember a lot of stuff from my childhood when it wasn't as bad. But there's a lot of common media. I don't use like slang from this year because I don't think I've really been around. Oh God, it's like fully sinking in. I don't think I've really been. I don't really go around people at all. I'm mostly just alone, and just so it doesn't get to me because there's this. I guess you can really tell what gets to people, what makes them kind of snap, what made me snap and start talking. Seeing all those messages directed at George telling him to end his own life. I get that like constantly at home for uh I don't know what for. But it's not like directly. It's more like I exercise a ton. I exercise so much, and it's like they'll sit me down with my parents and tell me you need to exercise more. You need to exercise more. You need to exercise more. They're trying to get me to hurt myself and do other stuff like that. But that's how I ended up in the hospital last time. I think that's and they were just sitting there. They were just sitting there watching me die. Uh, and I don't know. I don't even. I'm not as concerned about myself. I want my siblings to be okay. I want my animals to be okay because they're like children to me, and I want. I don't want them to get away with it. And you know the college my brother goes to as well is it is I think it costs $60,000 a year. I was saying that was much more. Well, he goes and he drinks and he parties. I don't I don't go to college. Sorry, I don't know. Yeah, I don't go to college anymore because I just I hate it and this is well just the area I'm in. I can't really just go outside and get a job enough to get like a pot and enough a big enough like flat or apartment or whatever because I don't look like everybody else. I've tried like everything to conceal my appearance, but people are always like acting weird around me, and it just, I don't know. I won't share the next part, but I'm glad that this girl and her siblings able to get out of there. I haven't participated that much because I held my tongue for the most part. Most human behavior pisses me off, and some things I could say shouldn't be said. I I I think I understand what you mean. There's a lot of bad people out there. There's a lot of good people out there. It's hard to tell who's who. And yeah, I guess I don't even know what else to say about it. And yeah, you feel free to say anything in my chat if it's something you want removed. You can well, I guess mod privilege. You can just, well, actually, yeah, you have me on Discord. And say however you feel. I don't need anything done about it. I just need to like figure out a way out. Not for me, just for my siblings. I went back here. I went back here knowing that I would be constantly coerced into trying to like in my own life, and I knew I really believe I he's strong enough to not do it, even though that's it. This is my entire world, so it's like everyone, it's like everyone all the time. But I don't know. I've made it this far. Yes, I am kind as I am, is because I know how unkind I can be. That's my reasoning too. I try to be nice to everyone because as yeah I'm sure as you've seen the worst of humanity, the worst that people can do. Probably understand the worst that you could do, but that really shows a person's character when you have the freedom. You know, you have the freedom to do whatever and what you. There's no reason for you not to do something bad, but yet you still choose to do good things. It's more difficult than it seems. Yeah, it really is. It's always in hindsight it's easier to see what you could have done. But I think regardless speaking, I don't regret it, and I will keep doing it. And I know I've had mental problems in my life, but I guess if I die, I'll put this on record. I did not end my own life. I did not. Just for the VOD, since I know there's going to be a lot of cunts snooping through my VOD. Not that they give a shit because I know that some of these people like fine with covering this stuff up, but it's oh god. I wanna leave so bad. I wanna leave so bad. I think I've been in I didn't even see the pandemic. I didn't even see the pandemic. I missed the pandemic. Have I been in, I've been inside for 4 years, basically 4 years, isolated. And yeah, sorry, this got really personal, but I couldn't not say it. I couldn't not say it because I've been thinking about it for days, and I've started to be less afraid. I guess less afraid of dying. Sorry, this got really dark, but yeah, I do apologize. Okay, yeah, I do that as well, a lot as well. I need to work on that. But right, yeah, transparent is an admirable trait. Thank you. At least there's something admirable about me. I try to remind myself that I remember I did have value. I mean, I don't even. The reason I color my hair is because I know that's something I used to like. I don't really feel like I don't have any sort of identity. I just try to hold on to what I remember the person I used to be until I can actually get out and form some sort of identity for myself. But yeah, that's enough dark stuff for one day. I know you've got email you said you wanted to write, and God, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might just on impulse end up spilling everything. We'll see what the consequences are for this. I don't think my parents can see my Twitch, but I'm gonna post something on Instagram, TikTok, see what happens, document some stuff, I suppose. Uh, anyways, thanks for attending stream. Thanks for listening, and hello to everyone who's sorting through my VOD. I know you guys. I'm gonna start uploading all my stuff to YouTube. You're welcome. Yeah. Alright. Anyways, yeah, right, it's late. I've been streaming for almost 4 hours already. Have a good night. Have a good night, Juice, and anybody else who's watching this, anybody else in chat. Have a good night, everyone. See you later.